Hello all, Fordham women's basketball returns home to start their home slate of Atlantic 10 play. The Rams' first A10 game overall was a 78-61 loss on the road at UMass. Fordham now sits on a 3-game losing streak coming into tonight. During the skid, Rams scorer Taylor Donaldson has been fantastic. A pair of 24-point games on the West Coast and 25 in their last effort in Massachusetts Sunday. Keep a keen eye on her this evening. Coach Bridgette Mitchell and her squad open up their home side to conference play against the defending champs. Coming into town, the defending conference A10 champions, the Richmond Spiders, led by returners from last season's success like Addie Budnick, Rachel Ulstrom, and Maggie Dugan. The Spiders look to stretch their conference record to 2-0 on the road in the Big Apple tonight. The Fordham Rams would love to get back on track with their recent struggles and also get in the win column in conference play. It's the Spiders of Richmond and the Fordham Rams, and it's next on WFUV Sports. Welcome in to the Bronx, everybody. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner, Ben Oppenheimer. Coach Bridgette Mitchell and her Rams are back home in the friendly confines of Rose Hill Gym for the first time since December 8th with their win over LIU. Since that game, a rough stretch for the Rams, dropping 3 games in a row all the way from the Bronx. Now back home for the Rams, a chance to get back on track in conference play against a very, very formidable opponent. Ben, how are you doing?
Chris, there's no better way to ring in the new year than to be right alongside you here in the Rose Hill Gymnasium. Fordham has definitely been in a little bit of a funk recently with a 3-game losing streak, but there are still a lot of things to appreciate from what they've done so far in non-conference play and heading into conference play. They haven't allowed more than 56 points scored in any of their 6 wins on the year. And they've just been great defensively, collecting 9.6 steals per game, forcing the 3rd most turnovers per game in the A10 at 20.08 per game. That's 55th amongst all Division I teams. Great on the defensive side of the ball. Can they do it on both ends tonight?
And we got to talk before the game, pregame, with head coach of the Fordham Rams, Coach Bridgette Mitchell. Listen into that now. Catching you live pregame before Richmond and Fordham with Coach Bridgette Mitchell. Coach, heading into this one, obviously a 3-game losing streak. Your main scorer, your main facilitator, Taylor Donaldson, has had an insane scoring stretch over the last 3 games. Can you just speak on that, and especially coming into this season, not playing, being in limited minutes in the beginning of the season to where she is now? Can you just speak to that?
Yeah, definitely. Taylor's a talented player. Her team gets a lot of confidence when she's on the court, and she brings it on both ends, both defensively and offensively. I think that these past few games, she's been able to do a really good job of hunting her shots, and her teammates successfully finding her, right? So when you get buckets, it goes hand in hand. Like, am I searching for them? Am I on a hunt for them to try to create the opportunities for myself? But also, are my teammates passing me the ball? And I think we've been able to do that successfully those past few games.
Coach, your defense has been a strong suit all season long. 20.8 forced turnovers per game, 9.6 steals per game. Facing off against a team like Richmond, are you trying to force the press early and kind of bring the fight to them and kind of turn that defense into offense?
Yeah, with our lineup, it's going to be it's going to vary each one, but we're coming out aggressively, not necessarily pressing. We're going to press after free throws just because they do have the size advantage, but we're not going to shy away from what we do exceptionally well, and so we're going to bring the heat. It's just going to be strategically in terms of our lineups matching and who plays our zone the best, who plays our man the best. So that's going to cause some disruption for them for sure.
And Coach, defending A champions coming into town, you guys are now starting your home slate. Is this team a good measuring stick for the rest of the conference of what you can do, and especially heading off of the talent you've been playing, nationally ranked Cal, a Xavier team with a lot of talent? Are these good measuring stick games to just test out and feel out your team for the rest of the season?
No, I think all of them are. We just lost to UMass, right? So when you talk about measuring stick, you gotta show up every single game in the A10, and that's something that's unique about this conference that we're honored and excited to be in. But our goal is to win it, and so when we have every opportunity that we get, we have to capitalize on it. Everyone has to show up, and that's something that we're going to continue to message all year, and each opponent is going to rise to the occasion. So we got to be ready.
And that's the identity that you're trying to portray as we get down the stretch.
For sure, definitely.
Coach, we obviously know Taylor Donaldson's scoring ability, her talent on that end, but as we get deeper into the season, who do you see as some of those second or third options offensively for this team?
Yeah, we have quite a few. A few players have shown, right? Like when you talk about Tay and her ability to get downhill, no one does it like her. Now a matter of finishing or dumping off to her teammates, she's leading an assist as well. And so we have Taya Davis with the opportunity, Shea Harris, she's shown some highlight moments, and then Irene with her back-to-basket presence. I think we have quite a few scoring threats. I think that we just have to make sure that we're going to capitalize on those. The same way that Taylor hunts her shots, we all have to hunt our shots. The same way that we find Taylor, we have to find each other. We're going to continue to grow in that.
And a step up from Shea or Renee specifically would do just massive things for your team.
Definitely. Those two.
Back in the Bronx, getting you set and tipped off for our evening matchup here in the A10. The home Fordham Rams in their home white going right to left. They win the tip-off over the A10 champion, the Richmond Spiders. They're in their road red going left to right. It's Taylor Donaldson starting it off for the Fordham offense to Irene Mora on the left wing. She moves toward the right elbow, now toward the left elbow. Dribble handoff, Taya Davis, left wing. She drives on the right side of the lane. Pump fake, takes a shot at the right block. Air ball, downstairs, Emily Wilson-Saltos finishing on the offensive glass.
Great second effort on that one. Starting out strong, first basket, setting a tone early.
Sweeney drifting from the top of the key to the left wing. Into Budnick on the left elbow. Budnick, 6'2" star for this Spider team. She receives at the free throw line. Downstairs to Dugan, and she finishes.
And I will say that it's a bit of a surprise to see Taylor Donaldson out there on the floor. We thought she would not be starting. She's been feeling a little under the weather.
Irene Mora receiving the pass on the roll from Taya Davis and finishing at the rim. Yeah, we didn't know if Taylor Donaldson was going to be a starter today. It's her, Taya Davis, Emma Wilson-Salto, Shea Harris, and Irene Moore rounding out the starting lineup for the home Rams. It's Dugan playing it at the free throw line. Budnick downstairs to Sweeney. Sweeney has trouble with it, then gathers it. Brings it out to the right wing to Ulstrom on the right wing. Budnick gathers it top of the arc on the left wing. Pass downstairs. Budnick in the left corner. That three's quick. No good for Dugan. Rims out. Rebound Wilson-Saltos. Rams offense moving with speed. Taya Davis drifting over to the left corner. Going right around to Saltos' screen. Pass top of the key. Mora, she takes a straight on three. No good off front rim.
Hey, even though that was a miss, that was a good shot, good pass, good shot selection. Sometimes it doesn't go your way.
It's in the right corner. Dugan to Ulstrom on the right wing. Back top of the key. Sweeney. Pass at the free throw line. Dugan downstairs. Budnick gets it to Ulstrom, middle of the paint, and she finishes. Fordham having some trouble inside defensively, and the Spiders take advantage. Donaldson dribble handoff Taya Davis. She fakes the drive, then pulls it back. Right wing. Top of the arc, Wilson-Saltos. Passes it back door to Mora. She finishes at the rim. 6-4 Fordham Rams.
Some very strong offensive possessions so far to start out. Aggressive early. That's exactly what Coach Mitchell was hoping to achieve so far to start out this one.
Dugan passing to Budnick on the right block. She drifts over to the left block, gets up a shot. Unsuccessful on the shot, but gets fouled. She'll go to the line for two. Addie Budnick, the senior from Highland Park, Illinois. Most outstanding player of the A10 2024 tournament. She was fantastic in their run toward the NCAA tournament last year.
And this Richmond team, certainly formidable. Chris, as she makes her first off the bounce there. Ranked number 1 in the A10 preseason ranking, and they've had a strong non-conference schedule as she made her second there.
Fordham offense will set up. Taya Davis to Shea Harris on the right wing. She'll move left around into Irene Mora screen. Take the three. No good offside rim. Rebounded by the Spiders. They're moving out. Allie Sweeney playing it to Ulstrom. Inside to Budnick on the left block. Finding a cutting Ulstrom. No good on her shot, but she'll go to the line for two. Another trip for the Spiders to the line.
And Richmond certainly aggressive and getting to the basket, and that's also a great find there. Very smart passing, moving the offense cohesively, a good flow to the pace so far, but Fordham is trying to make Richmond play at the pace of their own. As she makes her first there at the line. And Fordham definitely wants to get out in transition tonight, Chris. You know, turning defense into offense and making Richmond get out there and run on the floor. She makes her second there.
Played into Stassi. Played into Taya Davis. Taya Davis will get it back on a dribble handoff from Taylor Donaldson, right wing, going left around a Kayla Berry screen. Passing to the cutting Kayla Berry on the roll. Couldn't find her off her hands and back into the possession of the Spiders.
Well, a little sloppiness there on that one, and Fordham's doesn't have much room for mistakes. They have to take care of the basketball. Richmond is just going to punish them and take advantage.
Deep on the left wing, Sweeney moving right around to two screens. Finding herself deep on the right wing, back top of the arc to Dugan. Pass at the free throw line, Budnick. Budnick spinning on Kayla Berry, getting toward the rim, rejected by Kayla Berry. Fantastic internal defense there from the Rams.
Fordham just really looking strong in the paint there, making them work for every drive, every attempted layup, shot inside.
But Sweeney tried to find Katie Hill on the right wing, and it flies out of bounds. A turnover, an unforced one at that for the Spiders.
And Fordham definitely is going to take advantage of those. I mean, they love those forced turnovers, but hey, why not add on the unforced ones as well? Turn that into some points on the other end, Chris.
Taylor Donaldson gathers top of the arc to Irene Moore on the left wing. Pass to Veljovic to Kayla Berry, top of the arc, dribble handoff. Taya Davis back to Veljovic. She'll take the left wing three. No good. Rebound under the basket by Allie Sweeney. She'll move out with speed. The Spiders in transition. Pass on the left wing. Pump fake from Ulstrom. Drive inside. She gets blocked at the rim. Gets it back. Ulstrom. Pass top of the arc. Budnick straight on three. She hits. Richmond Spiders offense firing on all cylinders. They're out to a 5-point lead. 11-6. 5:40 to go in this first quarter. Large substitution looking like it's getting set on the Spiders bench. Fordham offense moving. Taylor Donaldson gathers it on the left wing. Guarded tightly by Katie Hill. Pass to Irene Mora, cutting on the left wing. Drive toward the rim. Puts up a skyhook with the right hand and hits on the right side of the rim. Impressive post play from Mora.
Fordham just finding ways to score inside and doing it successfully so far.
Three straight on there from Sweeney. Allie Sweeney on the three, and she brings the Spider lead back out to 6. Taya Davis crossing over left to right, now on the right baseline. Looking for a pass, dribble handoff to Moore, right wing. She'll take on her defender, pass it back out, Taya Davis. Taya Davis moving left around to Moore's screen, finds Moore on the roll, and she finishes at the rim. Another successful pick and roll for the Fordham offense.
That's a beautiful read right there. Finding the open teammate inside the paint for the easy two.
Kayla Berry going to foul the driving Rachel Ulstrom there on the ground, and it'll stay here with the Spiders.
And Ulstrom certainly dangerous for this Fordham team, as it appears she's a bit shaken up there.
Yeah, Kayla Berry laying flat on her back at the free throw line, now helped up by her teammates. Be a bit of a stoppage in play here. We could use this time to talk a little bit. Richmond Spiders, the Fordham Rams opponent coming into town. They have been really obviously successful of late with their A-10 championship last season. They're coming off a monster win against Dayton to start their A-10 slate. That one was 55-37. And this Richmond team, it may have started, some say, it may have started 2 years ago. They beat a very dangerous Fordham team in the A-10 tournament. They went on to have a pretty decent tournament run. That run feels like it all culminated last season, and then in their A-10 championship victory and their, eventual NCAA tournament run after that. But the last couple of years, Ben, it has really all been building momentum-wise for this Spider program.
Well, it just shows that it's not just about one season standing on its own.
Yeah.
It's a process building throughout over the years, brick by brick. The quote, Rome wasn't built in a day. A little bit cliche, I know, but it rings true, especially for a basketball program. You want that continuity if not with players, then with culture, with personnel, with staff, and that's what Richmond has been doing very successfully. They've been slowly building it up over the years, and credit to them. And Fordham right now looking to do the same thing, having some of that continuity over the next few seasons. That remains to be seen how it will look like, and unfortunately we won't be there, or at least I won't be there to broadcast those games with you, but I'm curious to see the evolution of this program, Chris, with Coach Mitchell at the helm, and seeing how things evolve, not just in this season, throughout the season, but into the future.
Yeah, it seems like the Spiders down in Richmond have now kind of catapulted themselves into that higher tier of the A-10, along with a bunch of other schools like VCU, like just the cream of the crop of that A-10. When we talk about even some of those teams more down south, it seems like Richmond is now firmly having a sense of belonging at any point in this conference.
Well, yeah, it's all about finding a sense of identity. And I think, talking about Fordham, kind of slowing, or not slowing, but kind of making this conversation a bit smaller, is concerning Fordham themselves. A positive trend for them to give them a sense of identity has been their excellent defense in terms of forcing turnovers and steals. That's why they've been getting those wins that they did in non-conference. So they just need to build on that identity. And what I've seen these first 2 minutes, they're down 14-10. But we thought Taylor Donaldson would not be on the floor in these first 5 minutes. She was, showing how much she cares about this team, how great of a teammate she is. They're still in this game, and they don't have as big of a hole to dig themselves out of as some might have feared, with Donaldson potentially not having been on the floor. But now they're in a very good position, and they need to build again on that identity, that defensive identity, defense to offense.
Yeah, and Donaldson was out there, like you said, Ben, but it didn't necessarily feel like it was the Donaldson that we have become accustomed to expecting over her play, especially in the last 3 games. She didn't have as much of a feel on the game as you would usually expect from Taylor Donaldson. Irene Mora having 8 of the Fordham Rams' first 10 points in this game this evening. Fordham Rams down 10-14 early, 4:40 to go in this first quarter. Richmond will take it out under the basket. Played in the left corner, it'll be Alyssa Jimenez. Played downstairs in the middle of the paint, and stolen on the ground. It's going to be fought for heavily. Carissa Antoine inflicting the jump ball, and it'll go back the other way in favor of the Rams.
And Nelson really showing love to her teammate there, admiring the effort. And now Fordham's got possession as they head down the floor.
Ferguson dribble handoff. Veljovic. Now Mora giving it to Rose Nelson on the left wing. Back to Antoine. Straight on. Another dribble handoff. Same spot to Ferguson. Nelson now getting it and drifting on the left wing. Crossover right to left. Going through the left side of the lane. Muscling through and finishing at the rim. Rose Nelson with an impressive play.
Great drive on that one, and some in the crowd thought there was a foul there, but either way, she gets 2. Fordham only down 2.
It's going to be a foul off the ball, an offensive foul off the ball. That one, I believe, is going to be on number 1. Actually, not number 1. I think the referees have it a bit confused who that one's on, but nonetheless, it's on the Spiders, and it's going to go back toward the Rams.
A lot of these possessions just going Fordham's way. It's like they're getting every single luck of the draw, so to speak, and they're taking advantage. Only down 2, 3:58 to go in the first quarter, and you have to like the position this Rams team is in, and they're showing effort and energy and even some cohesiveness, not just in transition, getting out and running on the floor, but also in the half court. The pick and roll, the nice reads and passes, moving the ball around, but keeping it under control. Right now I'm seeing a good balance of getting out and running and taking advantage of the chaos, but also staying poised in the half court, and that's very important.
Trying to figure out some sort of official dispute on the scorers table. It's now been sorted out. Both coaches not super pleased, but play will resume. It'll be the Rams taking it out in the backcourt. It'll be Carissa Antoine inbounding it to Ferguson. Ferguson getting across half court. Veljovic receiving it on the left wing. Stasi Veljovic moving right around an Omashola screen. Going through the middle of the paint. No good on her layup. Rebound brought down by the Spiders. Alston moving for Richmond through the left side of the lane, rejected at the rim by Precious Omashola. Omashola showing up big for the Fordham defense. The Spiders will take it out under the basket.
Just strong defensive effort after defensive effort on numerous possessions here in the first quarter. We've seen a lot of occasions where Richmond's getting out there, running in the fast break, and just can't finish.
Jimenez receives it on the inbound on the right wing. Back out to Dewey on the right wing. Her three, no good. Past the entire rim. Offensive rebound by the Spiders. Now passed at the free throw line. Camden, drop pass on the baseline. It couldn't be corralled by Jimenez, and a steal from Fordham. Rams moving the other way. It's Taylor Donaldson on the ball. She's looking for Taya Davis to pick up. She does. Now moving toward the right wing. Taya Davis moving left around an Antoine screen to Omashola, top of the key. Ball on top of her head to Taylor Donaldson on the left wing. She dribbles up ahead and takes the floater. It's good for Taylor Donaldson. Her first points of the evening. A tie ball game at 14. Coming the other way quickly is Richmond. A darting Faith Alston gets to the rim. Unsuccessful on the shot, but she'll go to the line for two. Another free throw opportunity for the Spiders.
Well, Richmond heading to the line again, and they've been taking advantage of that, but I love what I'm seeing on both ends from Fordham. The beautiful lefty floater, the one-handed, and then on the other end, not letting them get the easy layup in transition. Just very strong on both ends as she misses her first there. And, you know, obviously momentum can shift, not just from quarter to quarter, but even within quarters. And you wonder how long this honeymoon phase is going to last. Fordham shooting 54% from the field. Richmond only 44. She misses her second on that one.
Yeah, Alston missing both at the line. Spiders' first two misses of the evening from the line. They were 4 for 4 before that. Fordham offense setting up now. Taya Davis on the right wing, directing the offense off the ball. Getting it to Omashola, top of the arc. Pass to Rose Nelson, left wing. She decides to go baseline. Pass to Antoine at the free throw line. She tries to muscle it inside. It falls back out. Taylor Donaldson, her three from the right corner, no good. Offensive rebound by Omashola, and the shot clock winds down. Not enough of a keen eye on the shot clock, and it winds out.
Well, great effort in trying to keep that possession alive, but they just could not get past the chaos in that one, ending in a turnover.
Dewey playing it in the left corner. Outerkirk playing it to Camden on the right wing. Back out. Alston. Now on the left wing. Outerkirk losing it. Trying to feed it on the baseline. Alston having some trouble with it. It's going to be a jump ball under the basket. It's going to stay with the possession arrow on this side with the Spiders. More good defensive fight here seen from the Rams.
Yeah, and it looks like when you look at Coach Russell, he's not very happy with how his team's been executing so far and definitely wants to make some adjustments, get some new players out on the floor because Fordham's just been showing their grit and determination on every possession. And it's paying off, tied at 14 with 2:04 to go.
It's Allie Sweeney parallel with the left block, taking it out under the basket to Budnick in the right corner, to Dugan, right wing, up top to Ulstrom. Back in the right corner to Sweeney. 2 seconds left. Dugan's going to heave from the right corner. No good. Not even reaching the rim, and it'll go back toward the Rams. Good defensive stuff from Fordham.
Wow, just really not allowing them to get the shot that they want off, and Fordham looking more cohesive in their offensive abilities than Richmond.
Taylor Donaldson moving to the right side of the lane. No good on her shot. Gets it back and puts it up. Taylor Donaldson on the offensive glass for herself and getting it going for the Rams. Ulstrom stopping it on the right wing, passing it to a darting Dugan. She finds on the left block Addie Budnick, and she scores. Quick offense from both sides, and it's tied once again, 16-16.
Well, both teams taking advantage of the fast pace on both sides of the ball in those two possessions there.
Rose Nelson moving to the right side of the lane, putting up a floater, no good. Rebound by Dugan under the basket, and Richmond is moving offensively the other way. Allie Sweeney moving to the right side of the lane, stopping at the right block, out to Budnick, swing to Ulstrom, her three, no good, off back iron. It falls all the way out to Coach Brissette Mitchell and out of bounds in favor of the Fordham Rams.
Richmond just looks like they're rushing it out there, not allowing themselves to kind of get situated and reset and allow themselves to figure out what they want to go for on a possession. Just looking out of sorts and chucking some shots up. We've seen that multiple times, letting the shot clock run out, and Fordham taking advantage on the other end.
Donaldson passing to Mora in the right block. She moves right, going baseline side and finishing at the rim, reversing with the left on the left side of the basket.
That was beautiful, and she's got great ability as a scorer inside the paint as well.
Budnick pump fakes, ball on top of her head, top of the arc. Dribble handoff on the left wing. Katie Hill at the free throw line. Back out, Ulstrom in the left wing. That three, no good from Dugan. Rimming in and out, 19 seconds for the Fordham offense. Long pass down to Veljovic, couldn't quite get to her. It was tipped by a Richmond Spider, and he'll stay here with the Rams under the basket.
A little bit chaotic on that fast break opportunity, but still, Fordham doing almost everything they can the right way, up to 18-16 with 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, 15 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Taylor Donaldson receives it off the inbound on the left wing to Ferguson, top of the arc. 10 seconds, pass to Veljovic in the right corner. She drives baseline side, puts up a shot at the rim, no good. 4 seconds for the Richmond Spider offense. They're pushing it up the floor. It's Allie Sweetie with the half-court heave. No good, in and out. That one was close. It had the Richmond Spider faithful with a loud O there, but that's it for our first quarter. The Fordham Rams with a first quarter lead, 18-16. It looked a little rough there for a patch, but a really, really strong finality to that first quarter.
Yeah, and you just got to hope if you're Fordham that it carries into the second quarter and into the second half. Right now, they're holding Richmond to 35% from the field. Richmond, overall, so far this year, has been shooting 48% from the field. So a huge difference there. And then from three, Richmond shooting 25%. Fordham doing all the right things defensively and holding their own offensively, shooting 50% from the field.
That's it for us here with the first quarter of action. We'll be right back with the rest of the first half, but now we're going to send it to the Rose Hill Studios for a one-on-one scoreboard update with Lou Orlando. Take it away, Lou.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Well, the quarterfinal round of the college football playoffs wraps up today. Number 2 seeded Georgia versus number 7 seed Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl. The Fighting Irish, a 20-10 lead over the Bulldogs at the end of the third quarter. Notre Dame got out to a 20-3 lead before Georgia got a touchdown to cut the deficit to 10. How about this? If Notre Dame holds on, that would mean all of the top 4 seeds in this year's 12-team format would be eliminated with 2 rounds left to go. Oregon, Arizona State, Boise State all knocked out the last couple days. Georgia fighting to hang on. Rangers and Islanders both take the ice tonight in New York. We'll have live FUV coverage. Jack Warner at MSG for Rangers Bruins. Grace McCarron holds it down at the UBS Arena for Isles Lease. You can check out their coverage on Twitter. There's plenty to look at in the A10 women's basketball slate. A fun one earlier today. 11-1 George Mason hosting 10-2 St. Joe's. St. Joe's takes the game 61-55, and they hand George Mason just their second loss of the season. URI blows out the Bonnies. Duquesne's up by 5 against VCU at halftime. 3 more games later on tonight. We'll get to those in the second half with the one-on-one scoreboard update. I'm Lou Orlando.
Back here at the Rose Hill Gym after one. Fordham Rams up 18-16 over the defending Atlantic 10 champion Richmond Spiders. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Ben Oppenheimer. Ben, an impressive end of the quarter for the Fordham Rams, specifically defensively. It really felt like they digged in toward the culmination of that quarter.
Absolutely, Chris. They're playing to their strengths, and we know their strength on the defensive end, forcing those turnovers, as well as just getting out in the fast break. And when you look at that first quarter, they were doing all of the things that they were the best at and just continuing to use that same formula over and over. And what I find most interesting about their 2-point lead is that they're out shooting Richmond with Fordham's attempted 18 shots. They've made 9. Richmond's attempted 14. They've made 5. But when you look at the free throws Richmond has attempted more from the line, 6 free throw attempts on the line. Fordham has never gotten to the line, and they're still in the lead.
They haven't gotten to the line yet, but they've forced turnovers, 4 turnovers. The Rams have forced to only the 2 that they've committed so far. And Richmond was doing a good job at the beginning of this game of making their free throws, making their first 4. They have missed 2 since then. And we've talked about strengths of this Fordham team, defense to offense, offensive rebounding, and gaining extra opportunities in the offensive end. That's been a strength of this Fordham team. They set a record for offensive rebounding that hadn't been touched in 2 decades against Xavier 2 games ago, and we've seen some of that already today, just prioritizing the opportunities on the offensive end, whether that's offensive rebounds or just holding on to the basketball.
They've been doing almost everything right. The question is, will Richmond set a different tone here in the second?
Ball inbounded to the Fordham offense. Taylor Donaldson has it on the left wing. She's double-teamed at the top of the arc and stolen from. Maggie Dugan stealing it and going the other end. A pass to Hill, hit her feet, but she ends up picking it up. It's going to be Sweeney gathering it on the left wing for Richmond. Now in the half court, driving to the right side of the lane and finishing at the rim. Allie Sweeney with the impressive play. Ferguson has it top of the key for the Rams. 18-18, tie ball game. At the start of the second quarter, 9.5 to go. And that ball thrown into the stands by Jelvovic, and that'll be another turnover for the Rams and more possession for the Spiders.
Well, so far, Richmond gotten what they want so far. A little chaos on that first possession, but they got the layup and the basket, and now Fordham looking a little out of sorts.
Sweeney, left to right crossover, pass in the right corner. Now another pass inside Budnick. Budnick spinning and putting up a shot, no good. Getting it put back, no good. Getting another putback and putting it in. 2 putbacks and a score for Budnick, and she's got Richmond back out to their lead. Taylor Donaldson driving from the right wing, putting up a floater, no good. Another defensive rebound by Allie Sweeney, and she's moving with speed the other way. Sweeney, pass down low, and a finish down low. Great play here, finished on by Katie Hill for the Spiders.
Well, Richmond doing their best imitation of Fordham, getting out in transition, scoring quickly. Now they got a 4-point lead.
Ferguson, spot up 3, no good from the right wing. Offensive rebound by Jeljovic. She couldn't quite get it to go. Another opportunity for the Fordham offense. Taylor Donaldson gets the other offensive rebound. Pass back out to Mora. Her 3, no good. Another offensive rebound brought down by Wilson Saltos, and a jump ball called. Possession arrow going the other way in favor of the Spiders, but real fight shown by the Fordham Rams on the offensive glass.
Great effort to keep that possession alive, and Richmond has been doing the same thing to start out this second quarter. Fordham trying to show that they can do it as well, and they did it in the first. They just have to sustain that effort and see what happens from there.
It's going to be Allie Sweeney, guarded heavily by Taya Davis. Top of the arc to Dugan. She'll pump fake, then drive right side of the lane. Now at the right block. Back to Omashola, back out to Ulstrom, right wing. Back to Dugan in the right corner. Dugan drifting out to the top of the arc, dribble handoff. Budnick taking a long 3, no good from straight on. Rebound on the defensive glass by Rose Nelson. Taya Davis on the right wing. Looking for direction from her head coach, Bridgette Mitchell. Now has it on top of the Fordham script logo, center court. Looking on the right wing. Some good ball denial there from the defense of Richmond. Pass down inside to Mora on the right block. She finishes at the rim. Ulstrom looked distracted defensively, and Mora took advantage. Budnick in the left corner. Pass to Dugan, left wing. Her 3 is good. Wide open, and Dugan takes advantage.
Fordham not showing their defensive intensity that they had in the first, as another wild pass there. You know, we've seen some sloppiness just coming up the court on these possessions, but when they actually maintain some composure and slow it down, they've been good in the half court, some great reads, but you got to cut out the sloppiness.
And a turnover on that wild pass from Taya Davis. The Richmond offense takes over. Top of the arc, Katie Hill drifting over to the left wing. Tried to get it inside to Dugan. It's stolen by Taylor Donaldson. Taylor Donaldson coming the other way. Outlet pass sent in to Taya Davis. She misses the layup. Offensive glass opportunity from Irene Mora, and she loses it on the baseline. Goes back to Richmond, but good fight from this Fordham Ram team. They just can't quite take advantage of the extra opportunities.
Good fight, but you also just have to keep it under control in transition and try not to get too ahead of yourself, or you can end up in a situation like that.
Sweeney has it on the left wing for the Richmond offense. She's fouled. It'll be a reach in on the floor. It'll stay here with the Richmond offense. 25-20 Richmond lead. 6:40 to go in this first half. Richmond top 11 in the country in field goal percentage. They're shooting 42% right now from the field this evening. Budnick, top of the arc. In the left corner, Ulstrom's three. It's good! Quick fire from Rachel Ulstrom, and she has Richmond out to an 8-point lead, their biggest lead of the evening.
Well, the Spiders have come alive from beyond the arc here in the second quarter.
Taya Davis going right around to Morris Green in the middle of the paint. Bounce pass to Omashola, driving to the rim. She gets called for an offensive foul. It's Maggie Dugan taking the plunge on the charge, and that's another turnover for the Fordham offense.
Well, that's a great sacrifice by Dugan. You know, you always deserve credit when you take the charge and sacrificing your body, getting that turnover, and now you've got possession. But Fordham, for them, again, they just have to maintain some composure and try to limit mistakes like that, unforced errors.
Sweeney has it on the right wing, moving left around a Dewey screen. Now has it on the left wing. Pass out top of the arc, Dugan. Dugan has it guarded by Rose Nelson. In the left corner to Sweeney. Sweeney traveling in the left corner, maybe receiving some pressure from the yelling Fordham bench behind her, but nonetheless a turnover, and the Fordham offense gets it right back.
Well, that's the pressure that Coach Mitchell wants to see on the perimeter, limiting a pass inside, but also limiting those threes that have been raining down from the Spiders since the start of the second quarter.
Taya Davis, backdoor pass to a cutting Taylor Donaldson on the right baseline. She can't quite get the shot to go. It's Richmond offensively moving the other way. Ulstrom receiving a pass on the right wing, tried to pump fake and then drive, but she was called for the travel. A traveling call gives Fordham the ball back, down 8, 5:35 to go in this first half, Ben.
So much chaos. Turnovers galore. 6.
Both ways.
Yeah, both ways.
How many turnovers do we have in full so far? We have 14 turnovers,
Yeah.
7 on each side. Taya Davis passing to Taylor Donaldson on the right wing. Quick trigger. It's good. Taylor Donaldson on the three. She brings Fordham back within 5. Allie Sweeney wasting no time for the Spider offense, giving it to Ulstrom. Skip pass to Dugan. Dugan in the right corner, playing it in the opposite corner to Dugan. Back out. Dugan has it, top of the arc, pump fake, drives inside, back out in the left corner, Ulstrom. Her quick three is good. Another left corner three for Ulstrom. She brings another 8-point lead for the Spiders. Fordham offense trying to get something going here fast. Taya Davis moving through the middle of the paint. Can't quite get the floater to go, but she'll get fouled on the way, a shooting foul. She'll go to the line for 2.
Some good aggression there from Davis, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, that is the first time that Fordham will be shooting free throws throughout this game. And they definitely, one thing they should work on, that they need to work on, is show more aggression getting inside the paint and getting to the basket, even for a foul or if it's a layup.
Fordham with an opportunity to cut in to the Richmond Spiders' 8-point lead at the free throw line. We're going to take a little break along with the teams. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
I'm Isabella Terracini.
And I'm Barrett Spreitzer. We're two of your hosts for College Gridiron, the exclusive home for all things college football on WFUV Sports.
Join us as we break down the biggest matchups of the week, Heisman hopefuls, and college football playoff previews.
Listen in on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Back here at the historic Rose Hill Gym on the campus of Fordham University. The Rose Hill Gym celebrating its centennial 100th year season this year between men's and women's basketball. A lot of great ball played in this gym, and the Fordham women's basketball program looking to continue that legacy this season. They're falling short, especially in the recent last couple of minutes. It was close for a while with opponent Richmond Spiders. Now the Spiders sort of trying to pull away in the last few minutes, up 8, 31-23, 4:49 to go in this first half. Fordham really desperately looking to close the gap on this Spider team.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, Richmond has successfully countered the effort that Fordham gave in the first quarter. When you look at the field goal percentage for both teams, this one is completely evened out. Richmond shooting 47.8% from the field. Fordham also shooting 47.8%. But then when you look at the three-point shooting, Richmond just pulling away. They're 5 for 12 from beyond the arc, 41.7%. Fordham only 16.7%. They're 1 for 6. So Richmond taking twice as many threes as Fordham and shooting them at a much higher clip. And that's why they've taken this lead, an 8-point lead with 4:49 to go.
Yeah, to summarize what you said there, a big part of the gap is that three-point performance from both of these teams. Rachel Ulstrom at the center of the three-point performance for this Spider team. She has 2 big threes from the left corner that have really brought in life to this Richmond offense and has been a big reason for this 8-point lead. She's 41% on the year from the three-point line, and just in general, that dimension on the offensive end for this Richmond team has been so valuable all season long, has been extra valuable this evening.
Yeah, I should also note that Richmond is moving the ball much more efficiently here in the second quarter. They've got 9 assists compared to Fordham's 5, and Richmond also is, in terms of assists per game, they're 17.2 assists per game. That's 37th in Division I, so they're definitely good at moving the ball around efficiently, and that they have shown that here in the second quarter.
The ball movement does seem like a major issue for the Fordham Rams on the offensive end. More ball movement and just overall cohesion, I think, could work gangbusters for this Fordham team. It's Taya Davis at the line, coming out of the timeout for the Fordham Ram offense. 31-23 Richmond Spider lead. Taya Davis trying to cut into that now. Makes her first point on the night. No rebounds yet. 4 assists so far on the night. Ben talked about the lack of ball movement, the lack of assists. Taya Davis at the forefront of it for Fordham with 4 so far, as she makes the second as well. Now a 6-point lead for the Spiders as they inbound it to Jimenez. Jimenez gets it to Sweeney, gets it to Dewey at half court, just trying to break the full court press of Fordham. They do. It's eventually Ulstrom receiving it in the left corner. No, she's dangerous there. Pass once again in the left corner to Dewey. Dewey driving baseline side. Pass outside to Dugan. Dugan couldn't hold on to it above her head. It'll go out of bounds in favor of the Rams.
Fordham, their defensive pressure forcing the turnover on that one, as it almost was a pass to the ref.
Yeah, almost a pass to the ref. They're almost a pass to us as well. As the Fordham offense continues, Taya Davis top of the arc. Passing to Kayla Berry. Swinging in from the left wing. Pass to Taylor Donaldson. Same spot into Irene Mora on the left block. She spins baseline side. Tries to make a pass. It's stolen by Ulstrom. And the skip pass stolen away by Taya Davis. Pass to Kayla Berry. Left corner. She hits. A 2 for Kayla Berry. A foot inside the three-point line. But she cuts into this Richmond lead once again. It's now 4. Dugan cutting from the top of the arc, can't quite get the layup to go. Dewey on the offensive glass and put back, and she gets the Richmond Spiders back on the board.
Well, I just want to say that was a great read, great pass from Taya Davis to get the 3 in the corner, and she's 7th in the A-10 at 3.8 assists per game.
Rose Nelson has it on the left wing, dribble handoff, Taylor Donaldson, same spot in the left corner. Taya Davis pump fakes, drives middle of the paint, puts up a floater and hits. Taya Davis hits, and this Fordham offense has found a groove. 33-29, 4-point lead for the Spiders. Dugan on the right wing, passing it out to Ulstrom. That one almost stolen away by Kayla Berry. It is stolen away by Kayla Berry. Out of bounds. It's said to be hit off a Richmond Spider offensive player, and that'll go back toward the Rams.
Fordham seems to have come alive once again, as now we're in the tail end, or not tail end, but more in the second half of the second quarter here, is some great defensive possessions for Fordham.
Rose Nelson driving from the left wing, on the left block now. Back out Taya Davis. Top of the arc, crossing over left to right, then right to left. Moving through the left side of the lane, not finishing at the rim. And it goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rams. Another opportunity for the Fordham offense.
That was a beautiful shake and bake inside there. Didn't get the layup that she wanted, but possession will stay alive. And
Fordham staying alive just when Richmond was looking to pull away, make this a 10 or more point lead. Fordham is now back in it.
Taya Davis taking it out under the basket. It's going to be a kick ball on the inbound. It's going to stay here with the Rams. Taya Davis inbounding parallel with the left block on the baseline. It'll be a scrum in the paint, now spread out into four corners at all four corners of the paint. It'll be Kayla Berry to receive at the right elbow, driving from right to left of the lane, passing into Taya Davis. She finishes in the middle of the lane. Another score for the Fordham offense. Ulstrom has it in the left corner, trying to find a pass. Having some trouble with the tight defense from Rose Nelson. Pass back out. It's stolen by Taylor Donaldson. Top of the arc. She finishes on the other side. Taylor Donaldson with the layup. She brings Fordham back level. 33-33. What a comeback from the Rams in this second quarter.
Fordham, everything going their way on these past few possessions, offensively and defensively. We'll see if they can keep it up as we get closer to the end of this first half.
Hill crossing over left to right. Another poke away by Taylor Donaldson. Richmond gathers it back. Ulstrom left wing three. She hits. Wide open Ulstrom. It's good on the mad scramble after the loose ball pick. It's another three for Richmond.
And you got to keep an eye on her. She's dangerous from beyond the arc.
A backdoor pass to Kayla Berry under the basket. She finishes, taking advantage of the opportunity and leveling this game back once again. Not leveling it. Down one. Fordham still finds themselves down one without the ball. Spiders working offensively. On the left wing, Alston. Passing Ulstrom, top of the arc. Now pass to Budnick on the left elbow. Budnick trying to pass in the right corner. She does. Pass back out to Budnick, top of the arc. Pump fakes, drives left side of the paint, puts up a floater and hits. Budnick, composure there. 3-point lead. Taylor Donaldson, quick three from the left wing, no good on the quick find. Offensive glass work from Miranda Mora. Back out to Taylor Donaldson. Fordham Rams get another chance. Taya Davis driving from the left wing in the middle of the paint and finishing at the rim with another floater. More good offensive work from Taya Davis.
Taya Davis showing that quickness and just easy ability to get to the basket, to shake and bake, and definitely an integral part of this offense.
Budnick passing inside to Camden. Camden receiving a double team on the right block, finding Ulstrom in the middle of the paint wide open, and she finishes under the rim. Another good play there from both offenses as it's now 40-37. Richmond lead by 3, 41 seconds in this first half. Ton of fireworks down the stretch of this second quarter. Donaldson receives it on the left wing, giving it to Taya Davis between the circles. Now at the right elbow, driving through the right side of the lane, an offensive foul, barreling into Faith Alston, and she picks up the charge call. Taya Davis hitting the bench after that foul, along with Rose Nelson and Kayla Berry, and it'll be 26 seconds on the clock for the Spiders offense.
Well, you have to be smart in the way you drive to the basket, and a little too much force and contact on that one as Richmond gets another forced turnover on Fordham's end, and now Richmond's got possession. 26 seconds left. We'll see if they'll try to make a statement here with a big bucket from three.
It's Ali Sweeney being picked up heavily by Stats Veljovic, eventually getting it across half court, now on top of the Fordham script logo. 12 seconds to go in the first half. Now trying to move left around the screen, now moving right around the screen. Finds herself deep on the right wing, and a blocking foul called there on Stasi Veljovic. Not a great foul to pick up for the Rams with 7.7 on the game clock.
Coach Mitchell not exactly pleased with that one, talking to the ref.
It'll be Katie Hill taking it out right in front of us. In the front court, 7.7 on the game clock. Pass in the right corner, on the right block to Budnick. Back out, straight on. Ulstrom finds Dugan. Dugan finds Hill on the right block. She finishes under the rim. Two quick passes, eventually finds Hill under the basket, taking Fordham and me by surprise. And that's the final bucket of the first half. Richmond going in the locker room with a 5-point lead, 42-37 over the Fordham Rams.
Well, I said Richmond may want to end that first half with a statement. Now, it wasn't from beyond the arc as I might have predicted, but inside the paint, a buzzer beater to put them up 5, ending the first half, the way that they want to. And Fordham still in a decent position, still within striking distance, but Richmond ahead, showing that talent, that ability, that scoring ability. Both teams shooting above 50%, and we'll see if that changes in the second half. But right now, a surprisingly competitive game given the circumstances that Fordham was dealing with.
A erratic and exciting start here in the first half for Richmond and Fordham. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for the halftime report. 42-37, Richmond Spiders lead the Fordham Rams. We'll be right back with the second half from the Rose Hill Gym. But for now, we're going to send it to the halftime report in the Rose Hill Studios with Lou Orlando and Kurt Sipple. Take it away, guys.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Well, it's a new year and it's new Rams as well. The Fordham women's basketball team, while being down to Richmond 42-37 right now, they have looked so much better than they did against UMass Amherst that they did to start A10 play, and they're holding their own against the A10 women's basketball champion Richmond Spiders. I'm Kurt Sipple, joined alongside Lou Orlando for your one-on-one halftime show. The Fordham Rams are playing some very good basketball to start this half, taking advantage of points in the paint. Arena Moore is doing everything that she can for these Fordham Rams as well, leading and playing wonderful defense for Fordham. Lou, have you seen something different from these Fordham Rams than we saw from last week?
Yes, I think it's the depth of scoring from, it almost feels derogatory to say secondary options. I don't mean in a derogatory way, but simply put, you have the A10's number 2 leading scorer.
Number 1 now.
In Taylor Donaldson, number 1 after this. She's got 9 points right now through one half of play, but we know that she's been dealing with a little bit of a sickness. When she goes 3 straight games, 24 points, 25 points, and you don't win any of those games, well, that goes to tell you need a little bit more than just Taylor Donaldson scoring the rock. And what you get was a phenomenal first half from Irene Marua. You get still solid production from Taylor Donaldson. I key in on Taya Davis as well. I thought just a more well-rounded offensive attack, and I thought Chris did a really good job of catching the energy in the Rose Hill Gym, clawing back into that game and tying it at 33 when Donaldson steals it and takes it the length of the court. This is a really good Richmond team. For my money, if they're not the best team in the A10, and a lot of people think that they are, if they're not the best, they're certainly top 3. It's an impressive effort to be right there along with them.
10-4 right now for their regular season record, 1-0 to start in conference play. Fordham really playing some of their best basketball that we have seen of them this season against the Richmond Spiders. Again, like you said, spreading the ball out to different players. We haven't seen that much in helping the scores and helping scoring for these Fordham Rams. Really, we've only seen a few people doing it themselves, and it really helps. One thing I would like to see next, while the defense is getting very good, one scouting aspect is the Richmond Spiders are the number 1 3-point shooting team in the A10 right now, and they have 6 threes, 6 of 13, which is good numbers, and you're holding them to a lower 3-point clip than what they average. But you would want to try to run them off the line and try to play that better paint defense that we've been seeing all throughout this game that was lacking against UMass.
Oh, listen, you have to close out beyond the arc, because I'll tell you one thing. Listen, it's impressive that Fordham was within 5 going into halftime. You cannot let an opponent shoot 46% from the line and expect to win that game. That's
especially the number 1 3-point shooting team in the league.
Especially, and then when you look at on your side of things, 1 for 8, 12.5% from beyond the arc. That's not a disparity that's going to translate to winning basketball games. Certainly not teams the caliber of Richmond. So one of the big things on the scout when you look at Richmond is this team can shoot the rock, and they can shoot up and down the lineup, and that's one of the things that you start to see the more and more you watch teams in the A10, specifically on the women's side, is the good A10 teams, they have height, and they have height that can shoot. And when you have someone like Rachel Ahlstrom that is 6 foot tall and can shoot the lights out and goes 3 of 4 from beyond the arc in the first half, like, she is a special talent. And coming into the year, she wasn't even their top scorer. So this is a deep A10 roster, deep scoring roster. I look at that big three of Budnick, Ahlstrom, and Dugan, and your eyes light up. Like, this is a team brimming with talent. If there's one thing I want to take away from them, Kurt, it's that three-point line.
You have to take away, and I think that's something that Bridgette Mitchell is going to tell them about in the halftime, is that we have to just figure out how to get them off the three-point line, and the running and gunning for Fordham has worked out. I mean, you're turning the ball over, and you're profiting off turnovers as well when you get the points off in the paint, and you're getting points off turnover, leading by 15 in points off turnovers, and the points in the paint. Something that's really impressing me right now, 28 points in the paint. And that's something that Maror is doing for Fordham. Something that we then saw in Detroit Mercy when she came, that she has some great paint presence, great paint play. And today it's really showing 6 of 9 from the field. And maybe even more passing into the paint for her, trying to get her to finish off or pass out the ball. Because right now, one thing I always like to talk about when we talk about basketball and driving into the lanes is the gravity that they attract. And right now, Maror, I feel like, attracts gravity and can pass out the ball to an open three-point shooter. Maybe we haven't been hitting, we're 1 of 8, but when you get hot, the microwave scorer of Donaldson, you can get hot with Davis. You never know what can happen at the end of this game. If you take away that three-point line and start pushing and driving into the paint and passing out to the open offense, what can tell what this Fordham offense can do at the end of this game?
I'll get to that in just a second. A quick note, that basket at the end of the first half didn't count, so it's Fordham trailing 40-37, which is even better for the Rams. To your point about the success in the paint led by Marua, one of the big questions I had for the Rams coming into this season is I think they're a little bit on the smaller side. Obviously, they lost some very important height from last year. I think most notably Amanat Ali, who was 6'4". Like, that was a really important post presence for them last year that allowed them to battle with the bigger teams in the A10. And that's when you look at the A10 championship teams year in and year out, and some of the powerhouses that have established themselves over the last few years. I think of how dominant UMass and URI were a couple years ago, and how St. Joe's and Richmond have kind of ascended to what I would say is a similar level. Well, it's height up and down the lineup. It's height that Fordham simply does not have and really can't match with. But it's nice to see that in terms of just playing with them, playing against them, well, they can match them in a game competitive sense that, defensively, they can hang there. They can protect the rim. And on the offensive end, they do have the touch. They do have the talent to get their points inside there. That's not going to be easy buckets for Fordham all season long. These are, look at this A10, a lot of tall teams in the A10. So the fact that Fordham can have this success against an excellent defensive Richmond team, that's a good sign, not just for this game, not just for the second half coming up. That's a good sign for Fordham's ability to compete this season.
Going into this game, we heard Bridgette Mitchell say that this game, while not a benchmark, she thought that every game was a benchmark for the A10. For me and you back here, we talked about how this game is a benchmark for Fordham.
100%. Well, and listen, Coach B, it's a great quote, and it's the right thing that she needs to say, because Fordham as a team can't be looking at benchmark games. I kind of love the way Coach Bridgette Mitchell said, we just lost to UMass. We can't be looking at standings or net rankings or measuring stick games. They just have to win the games in front of them. That's absolutely correct, and that's probably the mindset that this team needs to adopt. For us let's call ourselves the media. We are the media. And for fans, members of the Fordham community, though, this is a measuring stick game for our expectations of this team and how we evaluate this team. So if you're able to beat Richmond, if you're able to hang with them and this stays a one-possession game for the majority of the second half, well, hey, I think alarm bells go off in a good way that, well, hold on, maybe This Fordham women's basketball team that Coach B just said before the game, our goal is to win a championship. I'm not sure how many people going into the season give them a legitimate shot of actually competing for the A10 championship. I think the odds are stacked against them, certainly. But, we kind of came away from the Cal game going, well, hold on, this team has another level. Maybe they can fight up a weight class a bit. This is another situation like that where, for us outside of the team, we look at a game like this, if the score stays pretty close, I think there's a lot of positives you take away, and it's going to change your expectations and the way you view them moving forward. Granted, that all depends on a really strong second half. One of the big things we harped on in both of the California trip games, a similar thing that popped up was, it might not be easy to have a good first half against a good team, but it's certainly doable. You can compete with a team that's better than you in the first half. Not easy to do it for the full 40 minutes. And how many times do you see the underdog come out in the second half? They don't have the same gusto, or the other team makes adjustments. They find the weaknesses, the exploit, and the game, ultimately look at the box score and you go, that game wasn't all that close. That's the danger that Fordham has run into in recent stretches right now, and that's the danger they run into here.
It's energy. The key word to all of this is energy. And Fordham,
Love it, Kurt.
And Fordham, throughout the entirety of their schedule, sometimes lacked energy. We saw it in that Cal game when maybe they were down a little bit more. The energy wasn't as much there. But we saw with Chris Carrino talking about it on the broadcast as well, that the energy was back. Grabbing rebounds was back. And Fordham today, the energy feels like their energy is in this game and that they're really putting up their best effort. And we'll see what happens in the next half if Fordham can keep up this energy that they are showing. But till then, I have been Kurt Sippel, joined alongside Lou Orlando. We'll send it back to Chris and Ben in the Rose Hill Gymnasium. We'll see you for the one-on-one post-game report after the game.
Hey guys, it's Rose Nelson from Fordham Women's Basketball. You can catch all our games this season on WFUV Sports YouTube page. Follow along as we chase the Atlantic 10 title. WFUV is the home of Fordham Women's Basketball.
Hey guys, it's Taylor Donaldson from Fordham Women's Basketball. You can catch all of our games this season on the WFUV Sports YouTube page. Follow along as we chase an Atlantic 10 title. WFUV is the home of Fordham Basketball.
Welcome back into the historic Rose Hill Gym. The Fordham Rams down 3 after a valiant effort in the second quarter, 40-37. Richmond Spiders with a first half lead, but not with any lack of effort from the Fordham Rams.
Yeah, Chris, Fordham within striking position, as I noted at the end of that first half, and they're shooting 51% from the field. Very solid offensively, but Richmond also finding their groove on that end. 53.6% from the field for Richmond. Both teams shooting around 30 shots. Richmond shooting 28, Fordham shooting 33. But what's interesting is, again, when you look at the three-point shooting, that's what's given Richmond the slight edge, as they have shot 6 for 13 from beyond the arc, and that's helped give them this three-point lead. But I also want to mention, as our very own Lou Orlando mentioned during the halftime report, that basket, that buzzer beater inside the paint shot was it didn't count. So definitely advantage for Fordham on that one. So instead of a 5-point deficit, it's a 3-point deficit. That's a one-possession game heading into the second half. Really, you couldn't ask for a much better position. I know, obviously, if you're Coach Mitchell or a fan, you want to be in the lead, but really an opportunity here for Fordham to make a statement here in the second half, and if not win this game, then make it very difficult for Richmond here in the Rose Hill Gymnasium.
Yeah, Fordham went into the locker room down 5. They're walking out of the locker room down 3, so that's progress for sure. This Fordham Ram team, along with this Richmond team, seem to be moving the ball relatively well. Assist numbers in a relatively similar place. Rebounding numbers in a relatively similar place as well. Fordham with a pretty sizable edge in the points off turnovers sector of the game. 15 points off turnovers for them, just to Richmond's 4. But as you said, Ben, it really seems like the gap in this game, the gap in these two teams so far this evening has been the three-point percentages. The three-point line is good for any game, and specifically for this game where the other team is struggling 1 of 8 from 3, it is extremely valuable.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Chris, where Fordham can make up for their three-point shooting woes, they're really outscoring Richmond in the paint 28-18. So even if Fordham is still struggling from beyond the arc, if they just continue to punish Richmond inside the paint and drive to the basket, get the shots they want, or even head to the foul line, even though they haven't been doing that as much as Richmond, anything that gets more easy twos inside the paint, that can help make up for that deficit of that poor three-point shooting. And then there's also the case that the three-point shooting could significantly improve in this quarter and in the fourth quarter. So we'll have to see what happens.
And two people we talked about pregame with head coach Brissette Mitchell, Ben, that needed to step up in not only this game but the rest of this conference stretch is Shea Harris and Irene Mora. Irene Mora having 8 of this team's first 10 points this evening, and she's been a force all evening long so far. Shea Harris still looking for her to step up and fully maximize her potential, specifically on the offensive end.
Yeah, well, we know Mora is a great rebounder, keeping possessions alive with her grit and determination. Not just a great rebounder, but also a really skilled scorer. 12 points in the first half, as you mentioned, Chris. 6 for 9 from the field, very efficient. And then also, I will mention Taylor Donaldson. She was under the weather coming into this game. Definitely that time of year where the flu, the cold is going around. She's still been very solid. 9 points, 4 for 8 from the field. And this is when she's not 100%. So you really have to give her credit, even though obviously Mora's been excellent. But Taylor Donaldson coming out and playing, coming into the starting lineup when it was thought that she wouldn't, and still making an impact and having a decent first half of her own. You have to give her props. And this team is right in it, Chris. And I'm excited to see what will happen in the second half. Will Fordham up the ante, increase the pressure, or will Richmond do what they did in the beginning of the second quarter and pull away?
Yeah, Richmond, largest lead in this game was 8. That was obviously in the first half. This Fordham team had a 2-point lead at one point, kept it really close down the stretch of that second quarter. Now, heading into the second half, it'll be, I believe, the Fordham Rams going left to right. The Richmond Spiders walking out of their huddle in their away red uniforms. Chris Carrino joined by my partner Ben Oppenheimer, getting you ready for the second half between Richmond and the Fordham Rams. Richmond, as we said, with a 40-37 lead. First half ended 42-37, but that last bucket from the Spiders at the end of the half was waving off. It'll be received at midcourt by the Rams, inbounded at midcourt by the Rams in their home white going left to right. Spiders, as I said, in their away red going right to left. It'll be Irene Mora at midcourt, inbounding it to Taya Davis, who has it. Shea Harris, left wing, starting it off for the Fordham offense, going right to left, now has it baseline side, back out, Taylor Donaldson driving baseline, pass into Mora, middle of the paint, she puts it in. Rams, good start. 40-39, 1-point lead for the Spiders. It's Allie Sweeney passing to Ulstrom, left wing, to Budnick. Same spot on the left wing, now cross-court pass in the right corner. Now skip pass to Ulstrom. Back up to Budnick, top of the key, downstairs to Dugan, rejected by Wilson Saltos. Fordham offense now moving the other way with speed. Taya Davis moving to the left side of the lane, stopping at the left block, passing it back out to Taylor Donaldson, where she'll settle it.
Wilson Saltos, definitely an impact player on the defensive end. We just saw it on that previous possession.
Taya Davis to Shea Harris on the left wing. Now receiving a screen from Wilson Saltos, moving right. Now stopping left, taking the mid-ranger, no good from the left wing. Defensive rebound brought down by Ulster. Sweeney stopping at the right wing. Now driving inside, back out to Budnick. She pump fakes at the top of the arc, drives inside, passes it downstairs, back out to Hill left wing, back to Ulstrom left corner. She'll take a three, no good. Rebound on the defensive glass by Donaldson. She'll gather it in the backcourt. Now Brought up the court, Taya Davis has it on the left wing, directs the offense with her hands off the ball. She's now looking left, pass to Shea Harris on the left wing. Harris receiving a screen from Saltos, doesn't use it, has it at the free throw line, pass to her left to Taya Davis. On the left wing to Renee Mora, jab step right, pass back out, Taya Davis. Davis inside to a cutting Mora. Mora loses it on the left block. Spiders now coming the other way. Allie Sweeney, pass up ahead to Ulstrom, pump fakes again, now pass back out to Sweeney, between the circles. Pass to Budnick, right elbow, pass into the right block to Hill. Hill downstairs pass to Dugan, she puts it in from under the basket. Good passing work there from the Spiders.
Great find there, great read, but you also have to think about Fordham. Where was the defender? The paint was wide open. Definitely a defensive lapse on that possession.
Shea Harris deep on the right wing, guarded by Hill. Pass to Taya Davis on top of the Fordham script logo. Moving left around to Wilson Salto's screen. Now moving to the left side of the lane. Pass back out to the left wing. No good on the three from Taylor Donaldson. That one off back iron into the hands on the defensive glass by Budnick. Stripped by Wilson Saltos. Turnover from the Spiders and put back by Taylor Donaldson. Taylor Donaldson using the shoulder to muscle off the defender and then telling her she's too small.
And Sweeney was looking for the offensive foul call on that one, I think.
Yeah, and she didn't get it as she then takes it on the offensive end for the Spiders, gets the foul on the floor, and it'll stay here with the Spiders.
Well, obviously, this game still a close one, and Fordham, again, still very much within striking distance, but there's also been a lot of sloppiness to start out this second half. Some turnovers, some defensive lapses that we saw, and definitely a little bit of some rustiness to start this one out here in a second.
Sweeney passing on the right wing to Dugan. Dugan touch pass downstairs. Budnick pump fakes, then puts up the shot and hits it. It's Katie Hill with the bucket. Budnick was next to her. She gets the bucket and the chance to complete the three-point play at the line. And now 3-point lead for the Spiders, 44-41.
Well, one trend that I said to look out for Fordham in a beneficial way is, will they score, continue to punish in the paint? As she makes her shot there and one. But Richmond getting some points in the paint of their own.
Dribble handoff to Taylor Donaldson, right wing. Pass on the right block to Mora. She has trouble with it, gathers it back, tries to get it in the right corner to Taylor Donaldson, and it was tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Rams. Good defensive effort from the Spiders. Fordham doing what Ben has been alluding to all night, translating defense to offense. Still overall sloppy play from both teams, as Ben alluded to as well. Taya Davis, backdoor pass on the left baseline to Rose Nelson, and she travels on the way to the rim. Another turnover for the Fordham Rams offense, and another opportunity for the Spiders.
That's a tough break there, as that was a great read from Taya Davis inside to the driving Nelson, and she thought she was going to get a foul call, but instead a turnover.
Sweeney passes it to Dugan. Dugan gathers it with her back to Nelson, to Ulstrom, top of the arc. Ulstrom, going to be a foul off the ball on the ground. It's going to stay here with the Spiders. That one's going to go to Fordham. It's now their third foul this half, as Carissa Antoine will sub in for Kayla Berry, and the Spiders will have it under the basket.
Well, definitely not something you want to rack up, as those fouls, they're going to hurt you in the end.
Hill receives it off the inbound under the basket and puts it in from the right block. Another offensive score for Richmond. Now a 6-point lead, 47-41, 6:13 to go in this third quarter. Taya Davis has it on the right wing. Pass to Antoine, top of the arc. On the left wing, Taylor Donaldson, she tries to make some dribble moves, takes a one-legged fadeaway from mid-range, no good. Offensive glass work, put back by Mora. Good work on the putback from Renee Mora.
Not a great shot by Taylor Donaldson, but great effort by Mora to keep it alive.
Sweeney has it in the right corner. Cross-court pass in the left corner. Pump fake from Hill. Drives baseline side. Back out to Budnick. Inside, middle of the paint. Dugan spins right. Puts up a shot. No good. Defensive rebound by Rose Nelson. She pushes it with some speed for the Ram offense. Dribble handoff. Taylor Donaldson. Right wing. Drifts over to the to straight on, pass to Rose Nelson, right corner. She receives another charge call. Rose Nelson goes baseline side, receives the charge, and another turnover for the Rams offense.
Fordham, again, looking out of sorts, confused out there, and they're only down 4, but I'm starting to remember the trend that we saw in the beginning of the second quarter where Richmond was starting to pull away. We're seeing the same trend, the same momentum happen right now, and you wonder, is Fordham going to start to push back as we get deeper here in the third quarter?
It's Alston moving left around a Dugan screen. Now in the left corner to Alstrom. Her three, no good, short side rim. And that one will be out of bounds in favor of the Rams. Seems like Richmond doing what we've been talking about with Fordham, translating the defense to offense. Not even simply doing that, but also translating Fordham's offensive mistakes and translating that into offensive success of their own.
Yes, and Fordham not capitalizing as much, not getting out in the fast break as much here in the second. We'll see if that changes.
5 minutes to go in this third quarter, 47-43. Richmond lead over the Fordham Rams. Taya Davis has it, top of the arc. Pass to Moore, right block. She has it back to her defender. Now middle of the paint, moves toward the left block, puts up a shot, no good. Gets the offensive rebound, back out to Rose Nelson. That pass is tipped to Taya Davis. Davis gathers it in the backcourt. Davis has another chance for the Ram offense. Back out, Taya Davis. Taylor Donaldson, left wing. She hits a three. Quick gather and release for Taylor Donaldson. She brings them back within one. 47-46 Richmond. Quick pass in the left corner. Skip pass to Dugan. She pump fakes, drives to the rim, and finishes on heavy contention from Antoine, and she finishes for the Spiders.
What a drive on that one, getting the shot for two, contested. Such a back-and-forth game we have here. A great shot earlier from Taylor Donaldson, but Fordham still needs to get ahead as they're down 3.
Rose Nelson passing inside to Moore. It's tipped away and stolen. Richmond now has it in the backcourt. Faith Alston pushing it up for the Spiders. Dugan, skip pass to Ulstrom, left corner. Pass back up to Budnick, left wing. Budnick, ball above her head to Dugan, top of the arc. Passing it around the world to Alston, right wing. Back to Budnick, opposite wing, left wing. Pass inside to Ulstrom on the left block. Spinning, middle of the paint, off the front rim. On the floater attempt, Taya Davis now has it for the Fordham offense. Stopping at the right wing. Dribble handoff to Taylor Donaldson, deep on the right wing. Pass inside to Moore, right block, spinning toward the rim, putting up a shot, no good, but she'll get fouled and get an opportunity to go to the line.
Some great aggression there from Mora, getting to the line for two. Again, we haven't seen enough of that from Fordham throughout this one, not showing quite the same determination to get to the foul line as we've seen from Richmond. And right now, Fordham 2 of 2 from the line, and the 2 times that they've been to the line, but Richmond 5 of 7 overall, so definitely having more of an aggression from Richmond to get the line, but you have to love that initiative from Mora there to get there. But then also, you look at Richmond, they're also taking advantage of a lot of offensive fouls that Fordham is committing, and even though they didn't get it on that call, a lot of times, including here in the second half, Richmond has gotten the right call, sacrificing a player, sacrificing their body, taking the hit, and then turning it into points on the other end. And that's what Richmond has been really good at doing. And also, just on the offensive end, when you look at splits of both teams, it's interesting. Both teams almost identical from the field. Richmond 51.4%, Fordham 51.2%. But again, as you noted, Chris, to start out this second half, what separates Richmond from Fordham right now is the three-point shooting. Richmond shooting 40% from beyond the arc, very solid. Fordham shooting 20%, not so solid. And then also when you look at the points in the paint, Fordham still outscoring Richmond in that aspect, 34-26. And also points off turnovers. Fordham still staying ahead of Richmond 17-8, but really it's the threes that have given Richmond this lead, and they've still given them this lead as we got 3:24 left here in the third, and we move closer to the fourth. You wonder, are we going to stay in this within 5 points area, or is one team going to pull away, and is it going to be an easy fourth?
Do you think one of these teams will pull away?
That's a good question. Very good question. Well, I think
Fordham's obviously done a lot of things right, especially in the first half, and they've still done some things right here in the third quarter, especially offensively. And defensively, they've held their own, and they've been their usual selves in terms of generating those points and turning them, or generating those steals, turning them into points on the board. But, particularly with the threes, if we see a lot of moments where Olstrom is getting a wide open three in the corner, or even in the paint, when we have those lapses, those defensive lapses, if we see a lot more of those occasions, or if they're more frequent as we head into the fourth, then I think Richmond is going to pull away in this one. And they certainly have the advantage already. But again, it's only a 3-point deficit. Fordham is definitely in a good position to make a comeback. If you even call it a comeback, they're still in this one. And again, you have to give them credit. This is ranked the number 1 team in A10 women's basketball. And it's a 3-point game right now, and it's in the third quarter. You really have to give them their props.
Well, it's looked like, as good as it gets in the A10, the Richmond Spiders. Fordham looks like they belong and some with this team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And really, you have to give credit to the effort, the grit and determination, and also, going back to Taylor Donaldson, the grit and determination that it takes to generate and be productive and efficient offensively while dealing with the cold or flu that she's going through right now. Definitely trying to make a positive impact, as Mora's at the line now, and she's going to take her first.
49-46. Rams trail. That free throw brings them within 2. 49-47. 3:24 to go in this third quarter. Mora going to try and cut the lead to 1. 17 points on the night. Now 18, and a 1-point deficit for the Fordham Rams. Full court press here from the Ram defense. Richmond trying to get it across half court. They do. Jimenez gathers it on the left wing. Pass up top to Budnick. She takes a 3. No good. Bounced on the rim a few times, and that one goes out of bounds in favor of the Rams. They'll get it back.
Well, what's interesting, Chris, is there was a full court press there on that possession after the free throw was shot by Mora. And I'm calling back to what Coach Mitchell said pregame, is that they would look to do that full court press right after some free throws.
Taya Davis passing to Taylor Donaldson, left wing. To Antoine on the left elbow, pass downstairs. Mora passing in the left corner. That 3 wide open is good. Veljovic hitting the freshman, getting this Fordham team back on top. 51-49 Rams lead. 2:45 to go in this third quarter. Stasi Veljovic getting the Rams in front. Olstrom receiving the dribble handoff from the left wing. No good on her 3. And it's Stasi on the rebound. Veljovic playing it ahead. Taya Davis, same spot, top of the arc, directing the off-ball movement. It's now Veljovic, left wing, pass in the left corner. Taylor Donaldson played inside on the left block to Mora. Mora backing down her defender, finishing on the right side of the rim with the layup. Nifty work down low from Mora.
Just great strength there in the paint to get an easy 2. And she's been so instrumental in why Fordham now has this 4-point lead.
To Hill, top of the arc. Swinging to Olstrom, left wing. Downstairs on the left block. Budnick. Back out. Hill. To Sweeney behind her. Her right wing 3 is good. Hill behind the back dribble moves into a pass behind her, and Sweeney was wide open.
Well, Chris, I said those 3s would be dangerous, and that's what could help Richmond pull away if they do in the fourth. So definitely got to guard the perimeter tightly.
Veljovic pump faking from the left corner, driving inside, missing at the rim, and the Spiders are now coming the other way. Sweeney driving and is fouled. That one will be on the floor. It'll be, I believe, given to Taya Davis. She'll pick up the foul. It'll stay on this side with the Spiders. It'll actually be taken to the charity stripe. It'll be a 1-and-1 now for the Richmond Spiders. Fordham Rams in the bonus with 5 fouls.
And Sweeney's got 8 points, 3 for 4 from the field. She's from Sparta, New Jersey. That's a great name, Chris. Sparta, New Jersey. Yeah. She makes her first
You wonder if she has any Greek heritage.
Or if the town has any Greek heritage. 9 points and 4 rebounds for her this evening. She's been the main ball handler, it seems like, for this Richmond team offensively throughout this evening as she makes the second there. 2 for 2 on her trip at the line, bringing the Spiders back into the lead, 54-53, 122 to go in this third quarter. As tight as it can get, Ben. Taya Davis, top of the arc, to Shea Harris, left wing. Pass to Taya Davis, driving, right side of the lane, stops at the right block, crossover left to right on the baseline. Pass to Taylor Donaldson, left wing. Pass the same spot to Taya Davis. She now looks. Pass down low to Mora. Mora has it. Carded contesting by Dugan. Dugan blocks it out of bounds on the baseline. It'll stay with the Rams. It'll be parallel with the right block. It'll be Taya Davis taking it out from under the basket.
And that was some strong defense by Richmond. We'll see how they respond on this second opportunity.
Antoine, dribble handoff, top of the key. Davis moved left, tried to take a shot from the mid-range and couldn't quite get the opportunity off with the shot clock.
Strong defense on both possessions there, making Fordham run out the clock, and that's what Richmond is doing to their advantage.
Sweeney moving left around a Dugan screen, now has it at the right wing to Budnick on the left wing. Dugan now has it top of the arc, played inside to Ulstrom, has her back to her defender, puts it in, muscles over Antoine, who falls over, and she gets the bucket.
And I think she was looking for the offensive foul call there.
Good call there, Ben. Taya Davis has it deep center court on the Fordham script logo, 56-53. Richmond 3-point lead, 16 seconds left to go in this third quarter. Mora driving to the rim from the left block and putting it in off the glass, getting the Rams back within one. 56-55, 3 seconds left. Sweeney getting quickly in. 3, no good from the right wing. Sped up quickly to the three-point line. Couldn't quite get that one to go, and that's how our third quarter will end. Richmond narrowly holding on to their lead, 56-55 after 3.
This one it's close, and it's exciting to watch, especially in terms of the back and forth. Both teams shooting very well from the field, over 50%. We'll see how it ends up in the fourth as we get closer and closer to wrapping this one up.
Heading into the fourth quarter here at the Rose Hill Gym, 56-55, Richmond Spiders lead. We'll send it back to the Rose Hill studios for another one-on-one scoreboard update with Lou Orlando. Take it away, Lou.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
In the Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame upsets Georgia, a dominant 23-10 win. That makes it official. The top 4 seeds in the college football playoffs have been eliminated in the quarterfinals. The Fighting Irish will play Penn State in the semifinals. How electric is that matchup? Texas, the 5 seed, the highest seed left standing. They'll have to battle Ohio State. That's another good matchup. Be sure to tune into College Gridiron this week, FUV home for all things college football. I imagine that will be electric as ever. Ladies and gentlemen, Mika Zibanejad has scored a goal. He finds the back of the net in his first game of the new year. And the struggling New York Rangers out to a quick 2-0 lead over the Boston Bruins. End of the first period, goals from Mika and Brett Berard. And as promised, we will take a look at the later portion of this A10 women's basketball slate. VCU, a 1-point lead over Duquesne in the fourth quarter. That would be a somewhat notable upset. VCU under 500, Duquesne 9-3 entering play. That's a 1-point game with 5 minutes left to go. Dayton has a stronghold on Loyola Chicago right now, a 34-14 lead at halftime. That's another surprise. The Ramblers 9-4, Dayton middling at 6-6, but they are in complete control right now. Davidson leads LaSalle at halftime, and UMass and St. Louis round out tonight's slate with an 8 p.m. matchup. With the one-on-one scoreboard update, I'm Lou Orlando.
Back here in the Rose Hill Gym after 3 quarters in this absolute barn burner, Ben Oppenheimer. It's 56-55. The Richmond Spiders, the retaining champions of the A10 Conference, with a 1-point lead over the Fordham Rams. The Fordham Rams really look like they belong against one of the cream of the crop in their conference.
Well, look, this is what college basketball is all about.
one team that's thought of as a very big underdog heading into a matchup, going up against, as you noted, the defending A-10 champs and the number 1 ranked team in the preseason, and it doesn't matter. They just showed everything that they could in terms of effort out there on the floor, muscling to keep every possession alive on those offensive rebounds and getting the right shots and also taking advantage of those turnovers and turning them into points. And when you look at points off turnovers, Fordham outscoring Richmond 17-28 points in the paint. Fordham outscoring Richmond there as well, 38-28. So really, overall, it's been an even matchup, and we'll see how it ends up at the end of this quarter.
Points in the paint and points off turnover, specifically the two fields that Fordham really needs to excel in to have a good fourth quarter. With that said, fourth quarter starting. Allie Sweeney starting it off for the Spider offense, moving left around the screen, passing it back out to Hill, right wing. She pump fakes, then tried to pass it back out and got it stolen. Rose Nelson on the forced turnover. Now Shea Harris has it for the Fordham offense. Stopping in the left corner, pass back out to Taya Davis, left wing. Now driving right side of the lane with a floater, it's good. Taya Davis stopping and scoring and getting Fordham back out to a lead, 57-56.
That's great decision making on that shot. A solid mid-range just outside of the paint for 2.
Budnick cross-court pass to Ulstrom, right wing. Back to Budnick, straight on to Hill on the left wing. Moving right around a Budnick screen. Almost had it stolen, and a foul called. That one called on Taylor Donaldson. It'll be a reach-in, and it'll be inbounded right across from the Richmond bench. Just one foul. First foul of the fourth quarter for the Rams.
She was not happy with that one. A little confused.
Seemed like she almost picked it away clean. Sweeney playing it to Dugan, right elbow, playing it inside, barging her way inside and finishing on the left side of the rim. Nifty work on the defending Irene Mora there from Maggie Dugan. Taya Davis has it for the Fordham offense. Looking for some off-ball movement, finding Shea Harris, left wing. Harris getting it to Nelson on the left elbow. She barges through the middle of the lane, trying to get it to the rim. And it's going to be a jump ball call. One of the Richmond Spider defenders tied it up, and it's going to stay here with the Rams.
Well, one thing that Fordham wants to avoid here in the fourth quarter is getting crowded in the paint and not being able to pass out of it and leading to a turnover.
Dribble handoff at the free throw line. Taylor Donaldson receives it and shoots it and gets it to go. Taylor Donaldson on the bucket. She gets Fordham back to a lead, 59-58. Spiders offense coming quickly the other way. Sweeney has it in the right corner, dumps it inside. Dugan gets a quick pass to the cutting Ulstrom, and she scores at the rim.
Dugan showing her playmaking ability on that one. A great read on that pass.
These teams going back and forth, 60-59 Spiders. 8 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Davis driving toward the middle of the paint. Another floater and another made bucket for Taya Davis. Another lead for the Rams as well, 61-60, 7:50 to go in this fourth quarter. Dugan receives it on the right corner and takes it. No good on the three, and Rose Nelson will corral the defensive rebound. Taya Davis has it between the circles, top of the arc. She'll give it to Shea Harris, right wing, guarded by Sweeney. She'll pass it into Rose Nelson in the paint. She'll back down her defender, send a pass down the baseline to Taylor Donaldson, left corner three, no good. Rebound on the defensive glass by Dugan. Sweeney brings it up for the offense, down low through the left side of the lane and finishes at the rim, plus the foul. Sweeney on the bucket. She gives Richmond a must-needed bucket and lead, 62-61, with the chance to expand on it at the free throw line.
What a drive, what a shot on that one. Getting it and the foul. And the Richmond fans here at the Rose Hill Gymnasium coming alive as that electric and one sends her to the line. She's going to shoot one. She's got 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, already 2 for 2 from the line.
She'll take this one, 2 of 2 at the line already tonight. As she misses that one off back iron, Precious Omashola is on the glass to pick it up. It's the Fordham Ram offense now. Shea Harris has it at the right wing. Pass to Taya Davis right behind her. Rose Nelson, top of the arc, passing in the left corner. Taylor Donaldson, she drives the entire baseline, tries to put up a shot under the basket, and it's blocked by Addie Brudnick. Spider offense now coming the other way quickly. Dugan pump fakes from the left corner, drives baseline side, spinning middle of the paint, back out to Olstrom, right wing. Olstrom driving through the middle of the paint, finds it at the rim, and is blocked by Rose Nelson. Fordham offense wasting no time coming the other way. Taya Davis stopping at the top of the key. Now waiting for some off-ball movement. Pass to Shea Harris, left wing. Her three is good. Shea Harris with the major three, and she gets Fordham back within one. So to now take the lead. They now have a 2-point lead.
Such smart playmaking on that one, finding the open teammate for a very well-timed three to put them ahead once again. The amount of lead changes that we've seen in this one, Chris, I'm losing count, especially here in the second half and then the fourth quarter.
Rene Mora receiving some much-needed rest on the bench now for the Rams. Rene Mora 1 point shy of her career high. That's 23. She matched that earlier this season already against Stony Brook. It's Budnick picking it up top of the key to Olstrom on the left wing. Drives and kicks it back out to Dugan. Same spot. She finds her opponent back door. Finds Olstrom middle of the paint, and she's blocked. Omashola and Rose Nelson tag team to get the block together, and it's now Taya Davis having it for the Fordham offense. Shea Harris has it deep on the right wing, going left around to Rose Nelson's screen. Now gets stopped at the free throw line. It'll be a foul. It'll be a reach-in by Dugan. Will stay here with the Rams.
I just want to say that was great defense on the other end in that previous possession, keeping their hands up, making sure not to reach and pick up the foul and preventing Richmond from scoring in that possession.
Shea Harris gets it into Taya Davis, now drifting toward the right wing, almost stolen by Dugan, recovers. Now driving on Sweeney through the right side of the lane. She gets it to go. Bouncing on top over the square on the backboard and getting it to go. Dugan straight on three. It's good. Picked up late by Precious Omashola, and she makes her pay. Major three, and she gets Richmond back within one, 66-55 with 5:21 to go in this fourth quarter.
Get your popcorn, everyone. This is a show right now. So many lead changes, so much excitement in the air. 66-65. It's such a close one, and the reason for that is because they're playing an evenly matched game. When you look at the field goal percentage, Fordham actually has pulled ahead a little bit, 54.7% from the field, Richmond's 51%. Now again, Fordham shooting poorly from three, Richmond doing a good job on the perimeter, on their defense, on that aspect. But really, when you look at the points in the paint, you see players who are fearlessly driving to the basket like Taya Davis, getting it for two with multiple defenders on them. That's what's given Fordham this 1-point lead is right now the points in the paint are enough to compensate for the lack of points from three. And the question is, the winner of this game will be who blinked first, which one out. Was it the threes from beyond the arc, or was it the points in the paint? Right now, Richmond is hoping that their perimeter defense can stop the bleeding and continue to stop Fordham from getting any shots from beyond the arc. And Fordham is hoping that they can continue to punish Richmond inside the paint.
One of the main catalysts offensively for this Fordham team, Taya Davis, just picked up another assist. That's now her 8th assist of the evening, tying her career high for the Fordham Rams. She's had a fantastic evening so far, the main ball handler for this Fordham offense through most of the night. Well, Rene Mora sitting on the bench for that last couple minutes of the fourth quarter. We expect her to go back into the game after this timeout. She's 1 point away from her career high this season. She needs to be important and needs to really put one of her feet forward here in order to not only take the brunt off of Taylor Donaldson scoring down the stretch here, but also just create more of a balanced atmosphere on the inside and the outside for this Fordham offense.
Well, she's been so instrumental with her strength inside, getting the shots that this team needs in the paint. Part of the reason there's been such a discrepancy between Richmond and Fordham with points in the paint is because of Mora scoring whatever she wants inside whenever she gets the ball inside, as well as Taya Davis, as we mentioned. And look, Fordham right now is in as good a position as ever to take control of this game. One could say they've already taken control, but again, that control is easily passed back and forth. It's like a game of hot potato.
Fordham Rams with the lead, 66-65. Richmond Spiders at one point had an 8-point lead in this game, 31-23. That was in the second quarter. They had a lead for over 5 minutes in the second quarter. The Fordham Rams really done a good job here down the stretch of making this game extremely competitive.
Yeah, and what I also want to touch on is points off the bench. Fordham really outscoring Richmond off the bench, 9-2. So especially when the starters, not all the starters are out there on the floor, you have players like Wilson Saltos coming out and making a great defensive possession. You have players, like Shea Harris doing what they need to do in the minutes that they're on the floor. It's not just about the starters, of course. I mean, that's basketball. It's a team sport. You need to have the bench also keep up with the starting unit, and this team has. It's a cohesive one unit right now, and Fordham's looking to keep that chemistry, keep that cohesion into these final 5 minutes, Chris.
Here we go. Taya Davis inbounding it from the backcourt. 5:17 to go in this fourth quarter, 66-65 Rams. Taylor Donaldson receives it on the right wing. She's looking for Mora in the right block. Ends up finding Nelson, left wing, to Shea Harris, straight on. She'll take a three and hit. Shea Harris absolutely pure from straight on. She gives the Rams a 4-point lead, their biggest lead of the evening. It's now Olstrom gathering it between the circles to Budnick on the right elbow. Pass inside to Dugan, and that will be a foul off the ball. That one will go on number 6, Irene Mora. It'll be her second foul of the evening. It'll stay on this side with the Spiders. That's going to be a timeout, media timeout called. We'll take a little break along with the team. 69-65, Fordham Rams lead on that major three from Shea Harris over the Richmond Spiders. 4:46 to go in this fourth quarter. We'll be right back with Fordham women's basketball on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
I'm Chaz McAdams.
And I'm Ben Oppenheimer.
And we are two of your hosts for On the Hill, the flagship podcast of Fordham Athletics.
We'll be talking about everything from football at Moglia Stadium
to hoops at the historic Rose Hill Gym,
discussing the ins and outs of all Ram athletes, teams, and big games.
If you want to be part of the Ramily, then listen to On the Hill from WFUV Sports.
Back here at the historic Rose Hill Gym, Fordham Rams lead 69-65, 4:46 to go in this fourth and final period. I'm Chris Carrino, joined by my partner Ben Oppenheimer. We've had a lot of fun here this evening, a truly back and forth affair between these two A-10 teams.
Yeah, and Fordham finds themselves in a position that really teams across the A-10 would envy. It's, your second A-10 conference game, and you're going against a team like Richmond, and you're up 4 with 4 minutes and 46 seconds to go here in the fourth. And look, I noted that a key weakness for the Rams throughout this one has been their three-point shooting. But we saw Shea Harris hit a really important shot from beyond the arc on the last possession before the timeout. And now Fordham is starting to slowly creep up their three-point shooting percentage, and Richmond is slowly creeping down. So Richmond now shooting 38% from beyond the arc, Fordham shooting 35%. So really, it's slowly evening out, and we talked about that evening out before. Now you wonder, is Fordham going to pull ahead, not just in field goal percentage, which they already have, but also in three-point shooting?
Yeah, that's something we've talked about all evening long as the real difference in this game, the three-point percentage. It feels like as this game gets more even, those percentages get more even.
Yeah, it's They say basketball is a game of runs, and right now we've seen so many shifts.
No game has epitomized that more than this one.
Exactly. And really what we're seeing right now is Fordham obviously on a run of their own. But again, can they sustain it? Because these runs that we've seen have been relatively short. And then there's been a shift in momentum because of one play or one mishap or one mental lapse. And so we'll see if Fordham can maintain that consistency and just find a way to pull away.
It's going to be Richmond inbounding under the basket, parallel with the left block. It's going to try and get into Olstrom. She does on the right block. She spins, tries to finish on the left side of the rim, and does it. Shea Harris picks it up for the Fordham offense. They're moving the other way. Stops on the right wing. Back out Taya Davis. Swings it to Rose Nelson. Now to Taylor Donaldson. Taylor Donaldson drifts toward the right wing. Dribble handoff Shea Harris. She passes Taya Davis, left wing. She moves right around to Rose Nelson's screen. Through the right side of the lane. Back out Taylor Donaldson. Rose Nelson now pass in the middle of the paint to Mora, and she's fouled on the floor. I believe that one is going to be on Maggie Dugan. It'll stay here with the Rams. It's going to be Allie Sweeney checking in for the Spiders. Checking out is Alyssa Jimenez, the FGCU transfer. Now inbounded under the basket to Rose Nelson. She gathers top of the key. Dribble handoff at the free throw line to Taya Davis. She crosses over right to left. Back out Rose Nelson, top of the arc. She drives right side of the lane. Back out Taylor Donaldson, right wing. She jab steps, now drives inside, back out Taya Davis, pump fakes, drives inside, middle of the paint, no good on the shot, but she's fouled on heavy contact from Dugan. She'll go to the line for two.
You know, you saw Taya Davis almost thought about shooting that three from the left wing, but instead did the pump fake, the drive inside to the basket, and getting fouled on the way up. Gonna shoot two, still efficient either way as she gets to the line. An opportunity for points on the board as she makes her first.
70-65, Rams lead. 5-point lead for the Rams. 15 points for Taya Davis. 8 assists. She makes the second. Still hasn't had a double-double in her career. 2 assists away from that. 4 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. It's going to be a full court press for the Fordham Ram defense. As Richmond tries to get it across half court, they eventually do. Budnick is the one to do it. Dribble handoff to Olstrom, deep on the right wing. Pass to Sweeney, top of the arc, almost picked off by Davis. Sweeney now drives, middle of the lane, no good on her floater, and it'll go out of bounds in favor of the Rams.
Another possession that goes Fordham's way, and they're playing great defense, and they're efficiently getting the shots or the free throws that they need on offense, doing the right things. Can they sustain it with a little over 3 minutes to go here in this one?
Taya Davis playing it to Rose Nelson on the right wing. Dribble handoff, Shea Harris, same spot. Dribble handoff on the opposite wing. Taylor Donaldson, pass in the left corner. Shea Harris, her three is good. Another major triple for Shea Harris, and she brings Fordham to their biggest lead of the evening. It's 9, 74-65 with 3:20 to go, and a steal from Shea Harris. Steal from Shea Harris. She's coming the other way, and she gives it out to Taya Davis deep on the right wing to reset the offense. What a string of play from Shea Harris.
It feels like the dam is breaking, Chris, as the offense is flowing, even though she missed that one, up to their largest lead of the night.
A rolling Rose Nelson misses on the floater, gives Richmond an opportunity offensively. Hill on the right wing. Passing in the right corner, Olstrom's three, no good off back iron. Offensive glass opportunity, no good, but Budnick will go to the line for two off the offensive rebound.
What a sequence we've seen in the. I got to catch my breath for a moment, Chris. I may be feeling a bit woozy out here. It's really just such chaotic, but chaotic in an exciting and just frantic way in the basketball that we're seeing.
Addie Budnick going to the line now for 2 shots, 2 of 2 at the line already. As she takes that one in, hits it. 4 assists, 5 rebounds, and 11 points on the night. I said before, named most outstanding player of the A-10 tournament last year. Also named A-10 Defensive Player of the Year last season. As she makes the second as well, bringing Richmond back within 7. 74-67, 2:45 to go in this fourth quarter. Taya Davis has it, dribble handoff, Taylor Donaldson. Taylor Donaldson goes from left wing to right wing. Dribble handoff, Shea Harris. Harris pass to Taya Davis, top of the key. Davis drives to the right side of the lane, now dribbles the baseline, pass back out Shea Harris, deep left wing three, no good, rimming in and out, almost looked good. Defensive rebound brought down by Rachel Olstrom, and she'll play the Spider offense quickly. Dugan, pass to Budnick, straight on three is good! Budnick wide open, and she cuts the Richmond deficit back down to 4, 74-70, 2:15 to go in this fourth quarter.
Well, this is an example of why you shouldn't get too ahead of yourself, even when you have what was a 7-point lead. Now it's only a 4-point lead, and really, when you look at Shea Harris, incredibly clutch in the three-pointers that she's made, but also when you make those kind of opportunities, sometimes you get a little bit comfortable. And I don't want to say arrogant, but you almost feel like you're feeling it and you want to take one more. And sometimes you'll pay for that, because as we saw, Richmond coming down on the other end, the open three, now they're only down 4. They're still very much in this game, and a team that is not going to let up easily. So really, you have to not take anything for granted, and you have to make the most of every possession.
And one of the X factors we talked about for this Fordham team, specifically offensively, was Shea Harris. She didn't really step up in any major way before, but now with these 3 major threes she's hit in this fourth quarter, it seems like she's completely changed the game. 74-70, Rams lead, 2:14 to go. They're going to pick it up in the backcourt, going to try and get past the Richmond press, which they do, into the front court. Taya Davis has it, deep right wing. Now picking up a double team. Dugan tipping it away. It's eventually gathered back by Taya Davis, playing it ahead to Taylor Donaldson, who's barreled into deep on the left wing. Barreled into by Dugan. Both of them a bit shaken up, Maggie Dugan and Taylor Donaldson, but nonetheless a foul on the floor that'll stay on this side with the Fordham Ram offense.
Gotta be careful here. That full court press starting to show itself from Richmond, and Fordham almost lost that possession twice.
And Maggie Dugan, her 5th foul on that play. She's now out of this game, a major contributor all evening long for this Spider team. Now going to have to play without her for the last 1:59 of this fourth quarter.
Well, that's another huge break for Fordham. An impact player for Richmond off the floor. Rams looking to take advantage.
She's been fantastic with 14 points already tonight as the Fordham offense sets up Shea Harris. Top of the key, pass down into Mora, under the basket, facing multiple defenders and finishing under the basket. Irene Mora with the bucket. It's Sweeney now moving quickly for the Spiders. They need to move quickly. Budnick driving to the left side of the lane and finishing at the rim, plus the foul. She got knocked on the head and still completed the shot with the foul, and getting Richmond within 4 with a chance to make it even closer at the line.
And that's a tough break for Fordham, doing her best to stay ahead of Budnick, but no cigar as she heads to the line now. Already 18 points, now going to add on to it with 19 as she makes that one. Definitely still a game here, only a 3-point deficit for the Richmond Spiders.
Budnick 5 for 5 from the line. They've gotten her to make them when they need it most. Now Fordham going to have to try and break the full court press here, inbounding the ball from the backcourt. Taya Davis receiving a trap almost immediately, playing it up ahead. Shea Harris tried to get it to midcourt to Rose Nelson. It's stolen. 3-point deficit for the Spiders. They have the ball now, 1:26 to go. Alston has it. Center court, top of the arc, moving left around a screen. Pass on the right wing, Olstrom. Budnick rolling toward the rim. Budnick now has it, left block, working on Mora, getting to the rim and finishing at the rim. Budnick with another big bucket. Timeout called by Bridgette Mitchell, and the Spiders are now back within 1.
Again, you can only play with fire for so long until it's going to burn you. You look at that possession there. Richmond taking their time to get the shot that they want, and then inside getting it and the foul. It's tough, really, for Fordham. They're really within striking distance to get a win here, to actually come out of this gym with a win.
Well, Ben, the win was seemingly in the bag. They have just had so much trouble offensively, just kind of getting out of their own way here.
Yeah, and a lot of, those unforced errors We talked about how Fordham loves to capitalize on those forced errors, those forced turnovers, but now Richmond almost giving them a little taste of their own medicine.
Definitely.
And Fordham is paying for it. Only up one, not the position you want to be in. A lot of pressure on this team right now.
Addie Budnick has been fantastic for the Spiders down the stretch. She has gotten a bucket at every juncture of this game with 11 points and 5 free throws that were extremely important down the stretch. Fordham now in the backcourt going to try and break the press. The press has given them so much trouble over the last couple possessions. They eventually do. Taya Davis gets it across half court. 1 point lead for the Rams with the ball. Dribble handoff to Taylor Donaldson, top of the arc. Another dribble handoff, Taya Davis, left wing. Another dribble handoff, Shea Harris. Shea Harris moving to the left side of the lane, trying to finish at the rim. Doesn't get the shot to go, but gets fouled, and she'll go to the line for 2. Trying to expand on this Rams lead.
Definitely the lucky break that Fordham needed. Not getting the shot off that she wanted, driving to the basket from the left wing, but shooting 2 at the line. The opportunity here to put them up what would be 3 points and expand this 1 point lead.
Yeah, expanding on their lead as they do there. Now 2 point lead on the made Shea Harris bucket. We've heard during positive Richmond stretches, their crowd has done a great job of traveling. A large contingency of Spider fans here as Shea Harris makes the second and brings this Richmond deficit back out to 3. Fordham Rams with a 3-point cushion with 47.5 to go.
Well, you definitely have to. You talk about Richmond was giving Fordham a taste of their own medicine. Fordham's got to give it right back. Definitely a ton of pressure is needed at the perimeter. Do not let Richmond shoot a 3, but also don't do anything unnecessary in terms of defense. Don't reach in and pull an unnecessary foul, because that can really hurt you at this point in the game.
Are you a foul up 3 guy?
I am not.
There's a little too much time right now, but if there was, say, 20 seconds left, you're not a foul up 3 guy.
I am not.
I am firmly a foul up 3 guy.
Okay.
I always have been.
Well, whatever, whatever works.
I feel like Carmelo Anthony disproved that myth again in an afternoon game at the Garden with a double bang that I think was involved by Mike Breen. From that point on, no team should ever be not fouling up 3. Nonetheless, 47.5 on the clock, 3-point lead for the Rams. Richmond inbounding in the front court, inbounding to Sweeney. She has it, top of the arc. Now drifting toward the right wing, played tightly by Taya Davis. Budnick gets it at the free throw line, tries to barrel down her defender inside, and it's stolen. Stolen by Shea Harris. And that one will be a timeout for Coach Brissette Mitchell and her Rams. They have the ball and possession. What a defensive play, Ben.
See, and that's why I say, Chris, that's why, in my view, you wouldn't foul up 3.
What I'm talking about would be with a lot less time. You don't foul.
No, of course. All right, so I didn't mean to get ahead of myself there. But that was really great defensive effort, great possession, where you're making Richmond dribble out in isolation, and now they're being crowded in the paint, and they give it up. Sloppiness there that Fordham takes advantage of and capitalizes on, and now they have the opportunity to put themselves up even more, give themselves even more of a cushion than they already have. 3 points is still a little too close for Coach Mitchell and her team. They're looking to put this one to bed.
And Ben, from the Richmond perspective, having a chance there down 3 with the ball was shocking with the way that Fordham has almost sort of imploded on themselves here. But to give it away like that is just brutal.
Yeah, and it may be what decides this game.
May just be what decides this game. 78-75, Rams have the ball with a 3-point lead, 36.2 on the clock. On the game clock, that is. 29 on the shot clock. Be inbounded in the backcourt to Taya Davis. She's going to receive the press. Taya Davis going to get around Jimenez, get it cross half court, which she does. 21 on the shot clock, 26 on the game. 78-75. And another timeout there called by Coach Brissette Mitchell. She wants to talk it over. It's a full timeout, so we'll take a break along with the teams. A back and forth, exciting affair for us here in the Bronx. 78-75. The Fordham Rams lead the Richmond Spiders. We'll be right back from the Rose Hill Gym. You're listening to Fordham Women's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hey, this is Chris Carrino, Fordham and WFUV class of 1992. WFUV is your home for all things Fordham athletics, with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to our Saturday show, One-on-One. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Back here at the historic Rose Hill Gym, 23.3 seconds left on the game clock, 17 seconds left on the shot clock. 78-75, Rams lead over the Richmond Spiders. They're in the front court trying to inbound it. They do to Shea Harris, getting it to Rose Nelson. Eventually gets to the top of the key to Taylor Donaldson, and she'll be fouled right at center court. She'll go to the line with a 3-point lead, trying to expand that to 4 or 5. Richmond with 5 fouls, so it'll be an automatic trip to the free throw line for Taylor Donaldson. Taylor Donaldson, 3-point lead with a chance to expand it to 5.
16 points for her. A great game as she makes her first there, make it 17 points. And once again, important to note that she's been dealing with a cold.
As she makes the second.
She makes the second,
Some
yes.
sort of illness.
Yes.
And she has fought through it, started today, and we didn't think she'd start, and has produced in a very important way. 24 points in her 2 games in California and 25 in their last effort. She's been fantastic. Stealing the ball there in the backcourt and out of bounds, almost completing the full turnover there for the Rams. Taylor Donaldson right on cue, but Richmond will take it out in the same space in the backcourt. Still a press from the Fordham Rams. Taya Davis and Taylor Donaldson playing up. Jimenez will get it in the backcourt. Playing it to Dewey. Dewey gets it across half court. 8 seconds to go. Played it under the basket to Jimenez, and that ball will fly out of bounds. And it'll stay here with the Spiders. Not really sure how that one is Spider ball, but nonetheless it is.
Yeah, I don't see where Richmond touched that one. Looked like it just...
And it looks like they're going to look it over on the scores table here to get an extra look. The teams of Fordham and Richmond going to get an extra talking to with their head coach. But now in this spot, I would call pretty desperate spot as the Spiders. What are you trying to get going? What are you telling your squad in the huddle right now if you're Aaron Russell?
Yeah, I mean, just apply pressure, full press, see if you can get a quick turnover, and then see if you can get a quick 3 or a foul and 1. But again, it's difficult to be down by this much and with so little time. You know, down 5 with only 5.5 seconds. They can try to pull a Tracy McGrady, which he did more in less time.
Yeah, his was actually more impressive.
Yes, but really, again, back to what I was saying, is in this sort of situation, the best you can hope for is a quick turnover and then a quick made shot on the other end, a 3, most optimal to put them within 2. But again, it's very difficult, and they just have to hope for the best. But most importantly, apply the defensive pressure to get them where they want to be.
Absolutely. This Fordham team coming into this game, as we talked about in the earlier stages, coming off a 3-game skid, including 3 games away from the Bronx. Coming into that game, they had won 5 of their last 6, including 4 in a row. So a good run of play heading into the losing streak, and now seemingly getting themselves back on track with a very formidable opponent.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're here.
And 80 points back, by the way. 80 points.
That's what I was going to say. It's a testament to the makeup of this team, what they're made of. I'm telling you, after what looks like is going to be a win. Obviously, I'm saying what looks like. It is obviously nothing is confirmed yet. But right now, the league, I think, is going to, the conference, is going to be taking notice at a Fordham team that's young, that's upstart, and that's looking to make a statement to start out A-10 play. You know, they had a loss at UMass that they want to put behind them. And I'm telling you what, if they win this one, they're definitely going to be putting that loss behind them, because this is going to be the talk of the A-10. Fordham pulling off the upset in the Bronx against the defending champs, the #1 ranked team in the preseason poll.
Maybe Coach Brissette Mitchell's best win in her tenure here so far with Fordham. They had a pretty major win on the road against St. Joe's last season. Toward the end of the season, that really felt like the biggest win of her time so far in the Bronx. This one, especially for the run of play heading into it, feels like extra special. It's 5.5 on the game clock. 80-75, 5-point lead for the Rams. It's going to be the Spiders taking it out, but as Ben said, they're going to need close to a miracle to get back into this game.
Yes, and both teams have played. It's been an even game, but Fordham is probably going to get the last laugh because thanks to the heroics of players like Shea Harris, but also Taylor Donaldson. 18 points, 7 for 15 from the field with the flu. And then also Mora, a career game. You talk about a career high in points. This is a career game in terms of what she's been able to do out there on the floor. 11 for 16 from the field, 68%. So efficient. And only shooting 2 free throws. 24 points in total, and a testament to not only her rebounding ability, which she actually hasn't had that many this game. She's only had 3 rebounds, and they're all offensive rebounds. But she has a great scoring ability down low in the paint.
It's a simple time change on the game clock. Now 6.5, an extra second added, and we're going to get back to play. 80-75, Fordham Rams lead, 6.5 on the game clock. It'll be Richmond taking it out under the basket. Under the basket they're trying to score on. Budnick receiving it in the left corner, taking a quick 3 and a hitting. Quick 3 only took 2 seconds, still 4.2 on the game clock, and now just a 2-point lead from the Rams. Unbelievable from Addie Budnick.
Well, I said, Chris, that a miracle 3 is exactly what you want in that situation. Now only down 2. Fordham has to be extremely careful not to turn over the ball. You know that Richmond is going to apply the pressure, and Fordham just has to stay composed, pass it around, and hope that the clock will run out before Richmond gets to pick it away.
Yeah, Addie Budnick for this Richmond Spiders squad has been absolutely fantastic, especially down the stretch when they've needed her. She has been there almost every time. That was obviously the most prime example, just a circus 3, and they had a player get fouled out around 2 minutes ago in game time, Maggie Dugan, and Rachel Olstrom and Addie Budnick, the other 2 returners from last season's major success, they've seemed to pick up the load where she left off.
So 24 points for Budnick, 8 for 13 from the field, 61%. Then also you look at the threes, obviously 3 for 5, 60%. Making the most of a lot of those opportunities when she's open. And then also 5 for 5 from the free throw line. So you talk about Mora for Fordham having a career game, but also Budnick for Richmond having an incredible game of her own. If Richmond finds a way to pull out of this one with a win, it'll be thanks to Budnick and players like her, along with Olstrom, as well as Dugan, who's now on the bench but still provided an impact earlier tonight.
This game has been, in a word, bananas, all the way down to the last final seconds. 4.2 on the clock, just a few seconds to work with. 80-78 Fordham lead. They're going to need to get this one in, and first priority, not turn it over. Second priority, maybe add to that lead. It's going to be inbounded right in front of their own head coach, Coach Brissette Mitchell. It'll be Rose Nelson inbounding it. Taylor Donaldson denied right away, ends up getting it into Shea Harris, and she's fouled in the front court. She'll go to the line for 2. Good work there on the inbound from Fordham.
Yes.
3.3 on the game clock.
She heads to the line, an opportunity to add a cushion once again to this 2-point lead, as she's got 11 points. Misses her first free throw. That's
off back iron for Shea Harris. She's 2 of 3 so far tonight. Couldn't quite get that one to go. Takes the second quickly and misses the second quickly. Shea Harris tried to get out of her own head by taking it fast, and she missed it. A 2-point lead now for the Rams, and Richmond has the ball not only to tie the game, but possibly take the lead, Ben. My goodness.
This is a nail-biter, Chris, and there's an opportunity here for Richmond to do what we thought was out of possibility at one point. And really, for Fordham, if they give up this one, a heartbreaker, coming so close. Now, again, they still have the lead, but Richmond certainly in the opportunity where Fordham is in danger, and you have to, once again, you have to provide that pressure and see if they can force a turnover, get a steal. That could end this one in the way that Fordham wants to see it ended instead of a shot that could be a game winner.
A few minutes ago, this Fordham team, you had thought had lost control of this game and had made it more of a contest. They pull away again, and Richmond comes back again, down 5 with 6.5 on the clock, now down 2 with 2 seconds left with a chance at the ball. That is just improbable. To think you have the ball with 6.5 left with a 5-point lead, that is daunting. But now, to think about how great of a spot you're in now, it is genuinely improbable.
Everything about this game is improbable. You know, Fordham is at 80 points right now, showing that they can do it on both ends once again. 55% from the field. We'll see if they can pull out of this one and get out of it alive.
3.0 exactly on the game clock. 3 seconds to go. 80-78 Fordham lead. The Richmond Spiders with a chance here at the ball. Richmond will inbound it at center court. Coach Bridgette Mitchell and her squad trying to avoid disaster. Worst case scenario, I dare say. It's going to be Katie Hill inbounding it right in front of her own bench in the front court. And here we go. Budnick gets it on the right wing, driving to the right wing, to the basket, no good at the rim. Irene Mora stands tall defensively, and the Rams get the major victory, 80-78. What a game.
What a game. What a final possession on that one. Driving to the basket, looking to make the shot or at least get a foul with almost no time remaining. Again, close, but no cigar as Fordham gets out of this one alive, and more than alive, thrilled to have beat a team of this stature as they're waving to the crowd. What a way to start out conference play at home. Certainly a win that this Rams team can take pride in, Chris.
What a game and what a win for this Rams program. The Rams have a tough stretch after this, playing 4 games over 10 days from January 2nd to the 11th, heading to Duquesne on January 5th, followed by an 11 a.m. meeting with George Washington on January 8th, and a trip to Loyola Chicago on January 11th. So really important for the Rams to not only get a win now, but a major win like this against the competition like the Richmond Spiders, especially at this point in the schedule. What an insane win for Coach Bridgette Mitchell and her squad.
The best win of her career with Fordham so far, Chris. And I say so far because the best could be yet to come. Who would have thought to a casual viewer that a win like this was probable with the factors coming into this one? But Fordham did not listen to the experts. They didn't listen to the people who had already made their predictions. They stayed true to themselves, and they found a way to win, doing what they do best, getting out in the open floor, taking advantage of those turnovers, turning them into points on the other end, and putting up enough of a great, solid defensive effort to lead them ahead and a win by 2 points. They're going to head to Duquesne, where they have an opportunity to make this not just a statement win, but a statement win streak.
What a win for the Fordham Rams. The Fordham Rams are going to try and compound some of this major momentum from this game into the rest of their Atlantic 10 schedule. Fordham heads back out on the road this weekend with a trip to Duquesne for Sunday afternoon tilt on January 5th at 2 p.m. For us here at the Rose Hill Gym, for me, Chris Carrino, my partner, Ben Oppenheimer, what a game in the Bronx to open up the new year at home in the Rose Hill Gym. Fordham Rams get get the exciting victory, 80-78. We're going to send it back to the Rose Hill studios with Lou Orlando and Kurt Zippel for a one-on-one scoreboard update and a post-game report. So long, everybody, from the Rose Hill Gym. Have a beautiful night, and take it away, guys.
The one-on-one post-game report.
Down go the A-10 champs and rises the Rams. Fordham women's basketball beats the number 1 Richmond Spiders. Final score 80-78. One of the most exciting wins this program has seen in a while. Fordham beats Richmond. Again, final score 80-78. Lou, I don't know. I just to start this, how excited were you to watch this game?
I'm thrilled. The best way anyone could put it is the way Chris did at the end of the game. What a game. That's all it's one of those wins where you're almost speechless. I mean, that is a phenomenal effort against, I'll say, the best team in the A-10, and Fordham on their own turf, able to outlast Richmond. That is, Coach B has had a couple really strong wins. I don't disagree with the fellas. I think that's her best win as the coach of the Fordham Rams, and it could not have been more tension-filled. It could not have been more dramatic, but that conclusion, that final bell sounding, and the Rams coming out on top, that is an awesome feeling.
Richmond shows why they are the number 1 team in the A-10, cutting it very close while the Rams were up 5 with only a few seconds left, and Budnick hits a big 3 to bring them only within 2. But Fordham's defensive effort, led by Irene Marua and everyone else on this Fordham roster, really shows what the seatbelt that Coach B always talks about. Fordham sticking to their man, and finally we see it pay off in such a big way, coming back from a really, frankly, very poor loss against UMass, and all you see is a new year, new Rams, and a spread-out victory, not only led by your A-10 top scorer, Taylor Donaldson, but Marua having 24 points. That is her career high. You spread out to Shea Harris with 11 points, Taya Davis with 16, Taylor Donaldson with 18. This is a team win, team effort, and Lou, like we said in that second half, the energy was felt and the energy was there.
Well, and what did we say, right? That in order to beat a team like Richmond, who, hey, 35 in the net rankings, according to NCAA.com, that's the best in the A-10. That's no joke. You take a look at their non-conference schedule. They challenge themselves more than just about anyone else in the A-10. So we said, what do you need to do to be able to knock off a team like that? To not just be a first half fluke and actually keep it up for the full 40 minutes. And Kurt, you came out right away and you said, it's energy. It's maintaining that energy for the full 40 minutes. They really never faltered from an energy standpoint the entirety of that game. Now, there are moments that make you scared, and we can dive into them a little bit. Taking the 9-point lead and then letting Richmond work back into it, and I don't even want to say mishandling, but Richmond being able to work themselves back into a situation where they're down 5 with 6 seconds left. They had a chance to tie with 3. That seems absolutely crazy. Budnick hit a circus shot. But Fordham did let them back into the game a little bit in the final 2 minutes. I'm almost more impressed that despite momentum seemingly getting swung back the way of Richmond, Fordham stands strong enough and is able to win this game. How about Marua standing in the paint as Budnick drives at the end of that game and doing enough there at the rim to knock that shot away?
Again, it just shows that this Fordham team has effort and energy that we haven't seen. Maybe we've seen it, but we've seen it in spurts. And Lou, like we were talking about back here a little bit more, it's all about consistency at the end of the day for a basketball team of this nature, is that you have to stay consistent so you make sure that those 9-point leads stay 8-point leads, stay 8-point leads with those seconds left to go, so you don't have to make us stress back here thinking that we might not win the game. with a few seconds left. But that's again why Richmond is such a big challenger, because this team is the number one. This team was the number one in the A10, winning a ring last year, A10 champs, as well as being number 32 in the rankings. But overall, it makes you wonder where this Fordham team can go now. It's all up from here.
That's the mindset. I love that you harp on consistency, because I think there's only, we just said this is probably Coach Bridgette Mitchell's best win with the Fordham Rams. I think there's only one game that maybe parallels this. And if you think back to last year, February 28th, at St. Joe's. St. Joe's was the number 2 team in the A10. They might have even been, I think they were tied for first in the A10 at the moment of that game. They were a top 50 net team. Taylor Donaldson hit a go-ahead 3, and then ultimately, I think right at the end of the game, they win by 5. That felt like the culmination of the winning streak Fordham had last year. But what did Fordham do after that? They came back home to close out the season, and they lost by 10 to LaSalle, who was one of the worst teams in the A10. And then they dropped their opening A10 tournament game against Loyola Chicago, and the season was over. So what do you do from here? You just upset, again, probably the best team in the A10. That should be a massive confidence boost for you over the rest of A10 play, and should be a reminder of what this team can achieve when they play their best. But it can't be a one-off thing that you fall back on and you go, oh, we're awesome now, we beat Richmond. You have to remember what it took to beat Richmond and carry that into a very lengthy A10 schedule and a very deep A10. They got games against Duquesne coming up. Duquesne is an excellent team. St. Joe's on the horizon. They're one of the best teams in the A10. It's not like this slate gets any easier, so you're going to have to bring it time and time again. But it's nice to see that they can bring it to that level. That's something I'm not sure people really knew until today.
You don't hang banners for single wins. You hang them for championships. And the only way that you can hang a championship banner is if you stay with the wins like these and build on them. And like you said, Lou, you have tough competition coming up. And now you have to think, we have to watch film. We have to run the same sets that we were running in practice. We have to stay encouraged. And as well, you have to shoot as well as you are now. You also have to play as hard as you are now. Because 46 points in the paint against UMass, you only had 30.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a UMass team who is taller, yes, but you were more talented than UMass. And you lose in a big way to UMass Amherst. And that is the way that you have to learn from the different things that went wrong in different games and figure out what can be built upon that. I think that paint presence was a big one. Not taking as many threes. We only saw 16. They hit 6. Fordham might not be as good of a three-point shooting team, but if you profit on field goals, that's the big portion that I like to see from this game.
But you know what? We had talked about, at the end of the first half, we said, look at Richmond. They're shooting 46% from 3. Fordham's 1 for 8. That's a divide that cannot continue to occur if you're going to win this game. So Fordham 1 from 8 from 3 in the first half. They went 5 from 8 from 3 in the second half. Completely turned around. They end the day 37.5% from beyond the arc. Now, Richmond's still over 40%. I think they're 41.7%, but that divide's not there anymore. So Fordham heated up from beyond the arc in the second half. That helped them close that gap. I got to give love to Shea Harris, man. She has just this tendency to, in big moments, she hits big threes. She exploded kind of out of nowhere in that second half, and I think she's been an underrated part of taking this Fordham team to the next level. Murrah, Donaldson, you know what they need to bring on a day-to-day basis for Fordham to be elite. You love to see an outburst like this from Taya Davis, ties a career-high 8 assists. Shea Harris is one of those role players that can step up, hit big threes in a big moment in big stretches like this. That's what championship teams have. That's the performances that they get.
You need to have a bench to build towards big moments like this. And Shea Harris is one of those people who, even when I was on the sidelines at the UMass game and she was checking in, she was chanting defense while running into the game. You can see that one, glue, helping out the entire team, being a glue guy for that team, as well as being just encouraging to her teammates as well, trying to make sure that they know that she's with them, even if she's not in the game, as well as trying to show them that she's a competitive, and it's not only on one person. And that's one thing that we've seen with these Fordham Rams so much, is that the scoring has been majority on one person, who Donaldson we saw all year having plus 20-point games, but backing up and losing those games. Now, you can trust other people on the court with different roles and scoring in big ways.
Listen, you heard the quote from Coach B at the beginning of this game, because Ben and Chris talk to her and they go, is this a measuring stick game? You look at some of the games of this schedule that you've played recently, big opponents. So these measuring stick games, and said, every game is a measuring stick game. We have to focus one game at a time. Clearly, Fordham took that attitude. They took that attitude right to Richmond, and they came up with an awesome win. There's no reason that you can't, A, maintain that mentality, but B, carry over some confidence and some swagger from beating a good team. That, confidence and swagger, as long as it's maintained in check and doesn't become overconfidence or ego, that's a great thing. And that's what a lot of winning programs have when they really get going. So you look at a game coming up against Duquesne, who just lost to VCU. VCU was under 500 at the time of play. They beat them by 2. Duquesne is a game that I think all of a sudden, if you're Fordham, you go, absolutely, we can win that game. We still got to play really well. Duquesne's a 9-win team at this stage of the game. They're a really good opponent, but we can take it to them at Pittsburgh. It doesn't matter if they're on the road. We can go in there and make life hell for them.
You have to make sure that you clean up the portions of this game that we were talking about the coming back at the end, about the turnovers. As
much as we gave love to Shea Harris, the missed free throws at the end of that game, Richmond should not have had a shot to tie or win that game, because, at the very least, all they should be able to do is tie that game with a 3. The mandate there for Shea Harris is you got to go 1 or 2.
Lou, I almost forgot about the missed free throws. They left my mind after the win.
It was a crazy final 3 minutes. It was unreal.
It was, and that's one of the things that brings Rose throwback. That's one other thing I want to harp on a little bit more, is that if you have wins like this and you're beating these big programs that are leading or winning, fans will come and watch.
Yeah, especially once Christmas break is over. You'll see Chaz McAdams was there today bringing the energy. I'm sure that helped over on the sidelines.
They saw Chaz, and they knew how they had to win that game.
Imagine if you had 150 Chaz McAdams in the student section, how electric that would be come January 15th.
I couldn't imagine 150 Chaz McAdams.
You probably
sure
it would be for your greater good. You should not.
I'm sure it would be electric for the Fordham Rams.
It'd be interesting.
But with that, I'm going to wrap this broadcast. But before we wrap it all up, I want to thank everyone that helped out today on the broadcast. In the Rose Hill Gym, Chris Carrino and Ben Oppenheimer had the electric call with this Fordham Rams basketball team. In the studio joining me, Lou Orlando, the man wearing many hats today. He was your producer. He was your video producer. He set up highlights, as well as being the updates guy with those amazing updates. I have been Kurt Sipple, your studio host. Bobby Chaffardini is the sports director of WFUV. Fordham women's basketball next game will be against Duquesne, January 5th. Fordham women's basketball is a production of WFUV Sports.